This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Without further ado, Dr. Umar Johnson.
It's an honor to be back in Little Rock. Only my second visit. My first visit was 3 years ago, in 2013. It's good to be back. A lot has happened over the past 3 years. I want to go ahead and get right to it, and I want to start with talking about the children. I want to talk to our parents. Parents, please, 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 think twice about putting your children in special education. Please think twice about getting evaluated for ADHD. Please think twice before you allow someone to write a prescription for Adderall, or Concerta, or Metadate, or Cyclert, or Ritalin, or Risperdal, or Depakote, or Prozac, or Paxil. Please think twice. Why? Well, this is Little Rock. Little Rock is important in the entire evolution, creation, and development of the special education system. Special ed was created so white people could resegregate black children. Special ed gave them the opportunity to take the black boys and girls out of the white classroom and put them in a class of their own. If you study school desegregation, you'll know that when black kids were integrated into the school, they were not really integrated into the school. They simply walked into the front door with the white kids, but they were separated into their own classrooms. But then the lawyers came in and said, you cannot separate the black kids from the white kids. They said, yes, we can. They said, why? They said, because they're black. And they said, that's illegal because the Supreme Court in 1954 said you could no longer use race as a factor in education. So they said, what you want us to do then? They said, we're going to help you out. When you separate the black kids from the white kids, don't say it's because they're black. Say it's because he got ADHD. Don't say it's because he's black. Say it's because he's retarded. Don't say it's because he's black. Say it's because he's emotionally disturbed. Don't say it's because he's black. Say it's because he got conduct disorder. And so these labels that they give our boys, these labels that they give our girls, these labels that many of you parents have grown addicted to over the past 20-something years are the weapons of mass destruction. You say you don't want your son to grow up and be a criminal, but you're helping them criminalize your son when they gave him that IEP, incarceration education plan. You got to recognize the role that you play, black parent. There's 2 million black people in jail, 2 million black children in special ed. You do the math. The average reading level of a black man in America's prison is the 3rd grade. The average grade when a black child is referred for special ed is the 3rd grade. You do the math. Special ed is the school to prison pipeline. And you know what's so sad about it? Most of our kids in special ed, they're not in there for deafness, they're not in there for blindness, they're not in there for speech and language impairments, they're not in there for true autism, they're not in there for brain injury. You know what they're in there for? Learning disabilities. Listen to me. The learning disability is not a scientific fact. The learning disability is a professional opinion. When that white psychologist takes your child and we take them into our office, I'm the school psychologist, so I do the evaluation, and I bring your son into my office and I sit him down. I give him an IQ test, I give him a reading test, math test, writing test, visual motor test, adaptive test, emotional measure, psychological instrument. I interview the mother, I interview the teacher, I review the record, I observe him in the classroom. And then from all this information from the observations and the interviews, and all the test data I got from all those fancy tests that I gave your son, I study it, and based on my assumptions, based on my prejudices, based on my training, based on my expertise, based on my experience, I come to the professional opinion that your son has a reading disability. Can I prove it? Hell no. There's no urine tests. There's no blood sample. There's no x-ray. There's no MRI. There's no CAT scan that can prove a reading disability. It's an opinion. You go to one psychologist, it's a reading disability. Another psychologist, it's ADHD. Another psychologist, probably me, he got ABT. And what is ABT? He ain't never been to help taught in the first place. Most of your kids in Little Rock, they've never been taught. Let me go a step further. Not only has he never been taught how to read, his problem is he don't care to learn. So there's the SLD, specific learning disability, but then there's the other SLD, which I call sloppy and lazy as hell Negro child disability. It's not that your daughter can't learn how to count. She don't want to learn. It's not that your son can't learn how to read. He don't want to learn, and you don't make him. Your house is a support mechanism for the mass incarceration index. In your house, there's no homework. Stop lying. In your house, you don't check it. In your house, there's no dictionary. In your house, there's no thesaurus. In your house, there's no set of encyclopedia. But there's video games all over the damn floor. TVs in every room. iPads and Samsung tablets and gadgets. Most of you Arkansas, when you went out for Christmas, you bought your children toys and gifts that work towards their future incarceration. You invested in their imprisonment. What do you mean, Dr. Johnson? I mean that your son spends 8 hours playing video games. How many did he spend last night reading? Your daughter spends 6 hours surfing the internet, looking at soft porn and all kinds of stuff. But how much time did she spend doing her homework? Look at the amount of time your child spends away from academics. And you tell me you raising him for success, you raising him for failure. And some of you black fathers, you absolutely trifling raising your sons thinking he's going to the NFL or the NBA. Why you got that boy thinking he's the greatest? He'll be the greatest damn criminal you ever met if you keep it up. Only 1% of high school athletes become professional. Only 1% of high school athletes become professional. Do you know what that means? Your son got a greater chance of being struck by lightning and making it into the majors. He's more likely to be struck by lightning than to make it into the majors. So parents, stop getting these evaluations. Stop letting white folks convince you that your child can't learn. It's interesting because our ancestors in slavery, Frederick Douglass being an example, my direct personal ancestor, taught themselves how to read. There was no special ed teacher. There was no IEP. There was no learning discipline. How is it 175 years ago, black people taught themselves how to read? No classroom. You could go to jail for being caught doing it. You can lose your life for being caught doing it. Fast forward 175 years later, in Arkansas, black parents think their child needs special help. See, if it was up to me, we wouldn't diagnose children. We would diagnose the homes they come from. If it was up to me, he ain't learning disabled. His mother learning disabled. He ain't got ADHD. His father got ADHD. And what does ADHD stand for? Ain't no daddy at home disorder. ADHD. And why do we call ADHD ain't no daddy at home? Because 85% of black boys diagnosed with it ain't got a daddy at home. He don't need no medicine. He needs discipline. The good old-fashioned kind that my father used to give out. The good old-fashioned kind that grandpa used to give out. See, the mother's job is to nurture. The mother's job is to love. The mother is the emotional support in the home. The father is the structure. The father is the boundary setter. The father is the disciplinarian. The father is the accountability system. But when you take the dad out of the house, the mother is left to do something that no mother should have to do by herself, make a man from a boy. And because she cannot do that by herself, the discipline begins to lag. And the son goes to school with a little less attention he had than when daddy was there. A little less discipline than when daddy was there. It's not a disease. It's called fatherlessness. It's called the war against black men that takes the fathers out of the house, lock them up, and leave the mothers at home to raise them on their own. And when she does less than a perfect job, here comes the American Psychiatric Association. Here comes the Wall Street drug companies. $30 billion a year is what they make. $30 billion on Adderall, $30 billion on Ritalin, $30 billion on Cycler. But nobody told you that these drugs are no different than crack cocaine. Nobody told you that the Drug Enforcement Agency classifies Ritalin as a Schedule B drug. That means Ritalin is no different than crack. And this is what you give your son long enough to sit still, to be miseducated by middle-class, lazy-ass white women who wouldn't care if he learned in the first place. And you say, well, Dr. Johnson, why you bringing up race? Because you cannot understand the black reality without understanding the role of racism. If it was up to me, it would be criminal for a member of the oppressor's community to be responsible for the education of a member of the oppressed community. What white woman is going to put your son in a position to take a job from her own? What woman is going to do that? That's like saying, I'm a coach for that team, but I'm going to come and get your players ready to play. It don't make any sense. ADD. We get ADD in 1980. Why did we get ADD in 1980? That's the same year the CIA dropped off crack in the black community. That's the same year ADD, Attention Deficit Disorder. Why did they change it to hyperactivity? What was wrong with ADD? Why did they have to make it ADHD? Who added the H in 1987? 1980, it was ADD. 1987, ADHD. You know why? There's no drug that can make your child pay attention. So under ADD alone, enough prescriptions were not being written. So in 1987, they added the H. So now every child can be hyper. And now you can justify medication for all the kids. Nobody tells you that it can cause diabetes, psychosis, tick disorders. Nobody tells you they can mess with your son's growth of his body, development of the brain. Nobody tells you it can cause heart attack or stroke. Nobody says it's going to mess with his ability to have children when he grows up. They don't tell you none of the side effects. I don't know of a black parent who has ever been given informed consent when they accepted a prescription for medication. Since when do you need medication to get an education? When do you need medication to learn? Public education is the only industry I know of where the customer gets blamed for not getting what they paid for. If you go to the supermarket and the bread is molded, you don't bring it yourself, you take the bread back to the supermarket. If you go to the auto dealer to get your brakes put on your car, if the brakes are squeaking, you don't blame yourself, you take them back. But you send your son to school to learn, and when he can't learn, you don't blame the teacher or the system or yourself, you blame your son. There's something wrong with that. There's absolutely something wrong with that. But see, you got a problem too, because why in the hell are black parents letting teachers tell you your son needs medicine? Why would you let a teacher tell you that? And some of y'all don't listen. Well, Dr. Johnson, I just wanted to get him tested just to see for myself. I just wanted to see. See the hell what? What were you looking for? I just wanted to see if you really had ADHD. I just told you that there's no test that diagnoses ADHD. We do the diagnosing. Ain't no test. The test don't tell you he's reading disabled. The test don't say he got ADHD. The test don't say she's autistic. The test gives me a number. That's it. Based on those numbers, I make the guesstimation, the estimation, the hypothesis, the opinion that I think, because I don't know nothing, I think he might be autistic. It's an opinion. And y'all take the opinions that white folks give you about your kids, and you project them onto your children like they the absolute truth, and they not. Some of y'all better stop making slaves for master system. In 1808, the United States government outlawed the importation of enslaved Africans. After 1808, you could not bring enslaved Africans into the country anymore. So how did they get more enslaved Africans? After 1808 to 1865, they transformed into a breeder society. We don't bring the slaves in, we breed them. We get a couple black men called bucks and a couple black women called bees. And the job of the buck is to keep all the bees impregnated on the breeding farm. And when someone wanted to buy a slave, they would just come and look at the new breed. Well, guess what, brothers and sisters? Just like they made us breed each other for their system, some of y'all still breeding black boys for their system. Your son don't do homework, you breed the slave. You let him go to school when he wants, you breed the slave. Only thing he cares about is basketball and football, you breed the damn slave. Only thing your daughter cares about is looking cute, you breed the damn slave. 12 years old with a tramp stamp on her back. That's the slave breeding. 10-year-old with no tattoo, 12-year-old with no tattoo. Boyfriend name on her neck, she only 13. Y'all problem. And you know what the problem is, parents? You're letting your children make too many adult decisions. You are the parent, not them. And what is the number one job, responsibility of a black parent? The number one responsibility of a black parent, where that water at, Queen? The number one job of a black parent is to teach, got it, discipline to your sons and daughters, especially your boys. What is discipline, Arkansas? Discipline is the ability to do what you don't want to do when it got to be done, whether you like it or not. Does your son have that? Does your daughter have that? Because some of you can't wait to send them to the University of Arkansas. Some of you can't wait to get them up to Spelman and Morehouse and Clark. Some of you can't wait to get them to Tuskegee and Howard. Some of you can't wait to get them to UCLA and Michigan State and University of North Carolina and Duke. And I want to know what the hell for. If he didn't go to his 8 o'clock class in your house, what the hell do you think he's going to do it at the University of North Carolina? If your daughter didn't do her homework in your house, you think she's going to do it 3,000 miles away without you being there? So you wasting $30,000 on a project you know going to fail. And send them to college for what? College ain't the same. When I started in 92, it was a different ball game. You can still use a degree. It was worth something. Yep. Now you send your child to college, they come back with a degree, can't even find a job. Yep. Are you aware that there's over 2 million African Americans in this country with master's degrees and doctorate degrees who are unemployed? How many of y'all here suffocating from student loans? Suffocating from student loans. And you can't wait to send your kids to college. College ain't doing nothing for black folk but putting us in lifetime debt to the banks of this country in the name of higher education. See, they played us for a sucker back in the 70s. After they assassinated Dr. King on April 4th, 1968. All right. Teach on it. After they blew his brains out with an Italian mafia bullet. Yes, it was the mafia who was paid to assassinate Dr. King. They're like it was the mafia that was paid to flood your ghettos with cheap dope. The mob is a paramilitary governmental agency. The Ku Klux Klan provided the logistical support for Dr. King's murder. They are a paramilitary governmental agency. That's why the Black Panthers can march downtown, but the Klan can't. Because they're part of the government. Every white group is part of the government. They don't throw nothing away. Not at all. But after they murdered Dr. King, white folks had a round table. FBI, CIA, president, local police. They said, can somebody please explain to us how the hell the Black Power movement lasted this long? And why we had to deal with so many of them? We had to worry about Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, the Garveyites, the Black Socialists, SNCC, CORE, Freedom Riders, sit-ins. Every time they woke up, they had to deal with another group of black folks. They was tired as hell. They said, how do we make sure this never happened again? White man said, listen, the Black Power movement was funded by black laborers who owned their own businesses. The president said, excuse me, he said it was the plumbers who funded them, the carpenters, the electricians, the auto mechanics, the painters, the barbers. It was their quarters that gave Dr. King his momentum. It was their quarters that gave the Panthers their financial energy. But they said, what are we going to do about this so this never happened again? And somebody said, you got to cut the financial support for the revolution. How do we do that? Go into the inner city high schools in Arkansas and get rid of all the trade programs. Take out the electric shop, take out the barbering, take out the plumbing, take out the carpentry, take out the auto repair, take out the HVAC, and tell them all to go to hell to college. If you do this, you accomplish three things. Number one, there will be no independent black money in the hood no more. So much so that when you, as I drove downtown Little Rock today, I see new construction buildings, and everybody working on the site is Latino, Chinese, or white. No black labor. Why? Because after 1970, they said to be successful in America, you don't work with your hands no more. You work with your head. So black folks start sending all our kids to college. Whether they was dumb or not, everybody go to college. And when you did that, you abandoned the building trades. So when you go to the mayor and say, Mr. Mayor, black people not getting their share of the construction contracts, they say, well, we can't find those certified plumbers. We can't find those certified electricians. We can't find those certified auto mechanics, so we can't give people contracts when they don't have the credentials. We should have never gave up the building trades. Do you know I know carpenters who make more money than surgeons? I know electricians who make more money than lawyers. I know auto mechanics who make more money than pharmacists. Somebody made you think that in order to be successful, you got to go to work with a shirt and a tie. Well, guess what? Half the people I know go to work with a shirt and a tie. Broke as hell. If it was up to me, we would get every child a trade. Every child would learn to work with their hands, because when you work with your hands, you can always feed your damn family when you work with your hands. But that's not what your son and daughter study. Shaquita is at the University of Texas getting a PhD in grasshopper reproduction. Shaquita gonna come back to Little Rock with a PhD, magna cum laude, top of the class, valedictorian, with a PhD in grasshopper reproduction. Who the hell looking for her to work? She's not going to get a job nowhere. Hopefully her parents got a home for her to sleep in, because she ain't going to have one of her own. And this is the problem with so many of you. You send your children off to college and they major in pure nonsense. Listen! The average college has 175 degree programs. 175 degree programs. Only 30 mean something. And I hope y'all college students are listening to me. What you majoring in? I'm getting me a degree in liberal arts. Your ass gonna be so liberal, you ain't gonna have a house to sleep in. What you majoring in? My major is 17th century medieval European Renaissance art. You got to be the dumbest Negro I know. What's your major? I'm getting my master's in black revolutionary organizing. And everybody teaching the class is a damn bourgeoisie. You don't let your child go off for $20,000 a year majoring in something that ain't relevant. Y'all gotta talk to them about it. They got to be relevant, otherwise they wasting their time. White folk that gave you all the degrees and they took all the money. Look at you. I'm working on my second master's, broke as hell. As black folks, they send your kids to the University of Texas, send theirs to real estate school. Send yours to the University of Arkansas, send theirs to Wall Street. Send yours to all the black colleges and send theirs on an internship to master and learn international investments. They never teach you about money. College degree. The hell out of here. I'm not saying your child shouldn't go to college. If your child wants to go and they are serious, send them. They want to major in something relevant and they serious, you don't hold them back. You're going to send her because she's majoring in something relevant and you know she's going to finish. But you know you can't send Shaquita up there to Atlanta because that girl thirsty. Panties is popping! You know she's coming back Thanksgiving with her babies. You know this! What you send her for? She was thirsty in Little Rock, she be thirsty in Atlanta! I'm only telling the truth. I work on the campuses. I see little sisters, you lose 4 scholarships every year. At least 3 of them. Lose a full ride because you just had to make a cook. So that's why you got to talk to your kids before you go send them off. Please, putting us into debt. We got to change it, brothers and sisters. How do we change it, Dr. Johnson? Black people got to become their own economic stimulus package. What do you mean by that? I mean, the reason Little Rock is in a condition it's in, Black Little Rock, is because you ain't got access to the wealth to build the institutions your people need. The problem in Little Rock, you ain't got no black hospital, you ain't got no black gas station, you ain't got no black supermarket, barely got black schools for our children, you ain't got no homes for black elders, you ain't got no infrastructure. None. Now the white man is going to come and tell you the reason why we ain't got no black infrastructure because you Negroes are lazy. The Chinese only been here 5 years. Look at all the businesses they got. East Indians just got here. Look at all the business they got. The Arabs, look at all the businesses they got. But what they don't tell you, it's not that you're lazy. It's that they're not going to give you access to the wealth you need to build your own. They want to give black people a small business loan. Small business loan. And you fall for it. See, when the Chinese showed up, they showed up with $1 million line of credit from the Bank of China. When the Arabs showed up in Little Rock, they showed up with a $2 million line of credit from the Bank of Dubai. When the East Indians showed up, they showed up with a $3 billion line of credit. That's why they bought 5 hotels and only been here a month. That's why the Arabs can buy 10 gas stations and only been here a week. That's why the Chinese man can open up 25 stop and goes in 1 year. Because he got access to capital. You go into the same bank they go in. Because if they don't get the loan at home, they get the loan from Wells Fargo. They get the loan from Bank of America. They get the loan from Chase. You go into that same Chase and ask for the same loan. Sorry, we can't approve it. Right. But here's the question, Little Rock. Why is it you can always get approved for a student loan? Why is it you can always get approved can always get approved for a car loan. But when you go for the business loan, you don't qualify. So you'll give me $100,000 for college, but you won't give me $50,000 for a business. You'll give me $50,000 for a car, but you won't give me 25 grand for a business. You'll give me $150 for a house, you won't give me $50 for a business. Why is it they will finance the college and they'll finance the car and they'll finance the home, but they don't finance the business? You know why? Because when I give you a student loan, I'm not investing in you, I'm investing in me. I know you're not going to be able to pay off that loan. I know there ain't no jobs waiting for college-educated black folks, because white people don't hire black people. I know this. That means what? That means you'll never settle this loan before you die. Your debt will pass on to your children and your children's children. I'm not invested in you, I'm invested in me, because that college loan ain't nothing but a setup for debt. I'm gonna give you the house loan too. I'm gonna give you a house you can't even afford. And then I'm gonna set the mortgage rate up so the interest is variable. And I know how much you make, because black folks don't put black people to work. You all work for us, so it's easy to get your paychecks out of it. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tweak the interest rate just enough so paying your mortgage is beyond your means. But I'm not gonna do this until you've been in the house for about a year or two. And then you're gonna default, trade the house in. I just made 2 years of money off of you, got my house, and guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the other side of Little Rock and sell that same house to another Negro who loved to keep up with the Joneses. And I'm gonna pick that Negro for 2 years of money, and then I'm gonna take the house to another section in Little Rock. I'm on my 3rd black family. Nobody figured out what the hell I'm doing yet. 10 years done went by. I done made enough money off you Negroes to make 10 of these houses, and I still own the original. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with that car though. You ain't got no business with no Benz. Come on. You a manager at McDonald's. I'm gonna give it to you anyway. I'm gonna let you finance it for 2 years. You're gonna default, trade it in. McDonald's laid y'all. You wasn't making enough fries. I'm gonna take that car, give it to another Negro, flip it for 2 years, another Negro, flip it. Before you know it, I done made enough money to make 10 businesses and I still got the original. You young black folks, they say it to themselves. But when you ask for the business loan, you can't get that. Why? Because if I give you the business loan and you really know how to flip money, you will mess around and put me the hell out of business. I'm not giving you no business loan. Slavery means dependency. Why the hell am I gonna help you be independent? But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the projects in Little Rock, and I'm going to go and find Miss Shaquita in the projects with 10 kids, and I'm going to give her a $5,000 small business grant. And I'm gonna bring Miss Shaquita, I'm gonna put on the front of the newspaper, the radio, the TV. Cracker Bank of Little Rock donates $5,000 to Miss Shaquita Small Business, Cracker Bank, where you should store your money. Now here's my question. What can Miss Shaquita do with the $5 grand? Mine, they gave Chinese a meal. The Arabs got 2 meals. East Indians 3 meals. They get hotels and Walmarts and auto dealerships. Miss Shaquita got $5 grand. The hell she gonna do with that? I'm gonna tell you what she gonna do. She gonna open up a pretzel stand. She gonna sell hot dogs and sausages at Little League, barrettes and ballies and shit. This is what she gonna do. Okay? Water ices, lemon heads, baked beans. The hell you gonna do with a $5,000 business grant? Now mind you, they only gave us a $5,000 business grant, but check this out. All your money is in that bank. So you holding $10 million in black income, but you gave us a $5,000. And then you want us to be happy because you're culturally sensitive. How the hell she only get $5 grand when you holding $10 billion of our money? That's why I'm working right now. I'm doing research, brothers and sisters, for us to build the unapologetically African credit union. We need them everywhere so we can finance ourselves. Unapologetically African credit union. You Negroes think you're going to change the situation by voting for Hillary or Bernie. I thought y'all ain't learned from Obama. Y'all Negroes are still holding. Well, what do you mean, Dr. Johnson? We gotta vote. You don't choose the damn president. Read the damn Constitution. I'm a political science major. You don't choose the president. Read, it tells you that. Well, if I don't choose the president, why they let us vote? To make you think you choose the president. Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton. Bill and Hillary, I think it's the same person. This man gave you 3 strikes and you out. Kicked millions of women off welfare. Mandatory minimum drug sentences, and you would have put his wife in the White House. And then you got Bernie Sanders. They telling y'all he marched with Dr. King before I was born. I don't give a damn what you did 50 years ago, sir. What have you done lately? Everybody's a revolutionary in their teenager years. Hell, Jesse Jackson used to have an afro when he was a teenager. He was militant. Look at him now. You don't choose no president. When you vote for the personality, not the policy. Let me say it again. You vote for the person whose face you would like to be on your oppression. 8 years ago, you thought it would be better if Obama's face was on your white supremacy. And now you're going to choose Bernie or Hillary's face to be on your white supremacy, but it's white supremacy just the same. And what y'all fail to understand, rich people don't give a damn who wins the presidency. What did Rothschild say? Father Rothschild, the father of the international banking system. Father Rothschild said, give me control over a people's money. I could care less who makes their laws. Y'all think politics run money? Money run politics! Every U.S. senator is a millionaire. Every Supreme Court justice is a millionaire. Every president is a millionaire. So you think they're going to get into office and take care of poor people? You know, 40% of Americans don't vote. Y'all do know that? 40%. I think it's higher than that. I think more than half of people in this country don't vote. Why don't they vote? It's real simple. Poor people don't vote because nobody give a damn about them. Rich people don't vote because it don't matter. You know who vote? College-educated, middle-class folks when they figure out the game. You know, white person want to listen. I will vote for the president when somebody has on a platform that I'm running to destroy white supremacy. And when you see that, let me know. I'm gonna go vote. See, your problem is you think that you need a black face in a high place to get justice. Do you realize justice works the opposite for you? Yes. Whenever you get a black face in a high place, you end up doing worse. But the question is, why do you do worse under black elected officials? I don't care if it's the mayor, the governor, state rep, state senator, U.S. rep, U.S. senator. Why do blacks do worse when the person in office look like you? I'm going to tell you why. And it ain't got nothing to do with them being a sellout. Yeah, they got too, but that ain't the reason. You know why? Because if Umar Johnson moves to Little Rock, and I want to run for mayor of Little Rock, and my black community don't have its money organized, I got to go to the racist Democratic Party for funding. I got to go to the corporations in Little Rock for funding. I got to go to the white Masons for funding. By the time I finish collecting campaign contributions, I done sold my whole agenda out. Because in order to get their money, they want certain concessions. And these white folk ain't playing. If they give me $1 million to run, I better deliver or I will be delivered. So you know what that means? Obama's failure is 50% your fault. Because y'all didn't finance Obama.
Come on.
Nah. See, the reason why Obama looked out for the white women with the Equal Pay Act is because they sat down with Obama and said, listen, we not black folks. We're not just going to go vote for you because you look like us. That ain't working. You want something from us, Obama? We want equal pay. The white woman is still only making 75 cents to a white man's dollar. And somebody said, Dr. Johnson, well, don't you think that was a good thing that Obama equalized the pay for men and women? Hell no! Why? I don't have a problem with women making the same amount as men. You should. My problem is how the hell you get white women more money in their paycheck when half the black men in Little Rock ain't got a job at all? How the hell? You're going to get a few extra coins in a woman's paycheck when half the black men in Little Rock unemployed, half the black men in Philadelphia unemployed, half the black men in New York unemployed, half the black men in Houston unemployed. You can get them more money, but you can't give me a check at all.
Come on.
Obama looked out for the LGBTQs because they sat down with him and said, listen, sir, we not Negroes. We're not going to vote for you just because. We want something. Obama said, what y'all want? They said, we want laws that elevate the LGBT to the same status as black. They said, we want our partners to get the same medical benefits, even if we ain't married to them. And Obama said, I got you. They said, we want a Supreme Court justice. He said, I got you. Went to the Latinos, gave concessions to the Latinos. Black folks ain't get nothing because you ain't asked for nothing. Y'all was in the streets dancing. I'm just glad he looked like me. Ooh, 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 ooh. Young ass black folks. He said, what would you like Obama to do for black people? Down the limit. What would you like Obama to do for black people? Nothing. I'm just glad he black. He ain't got to do nothing for me. You had Negroes saying that on national television. Even if you felt that way, you don't tell the world that. Once white folks saw that, they said, you see, these Negroes are for real. You got to do for everything. And that's what he did. Nothing! Somebody said, well, Dr. Johnson, they say that, you know, you got an issue with gays and people of color. And what's your problem? I ain't got no problem. I don't agree with the lifestyle, that's my right, but I'm not going to deny nobody their humanity. I just don't agree with you. I'm not going to stop you from getting a job. I'm not going to stop you from living a decent life. I'm not going to hurt you or your children. I'm a psychotherapist. I know how you ended up that way in the first place. So why am I going to work against your best interests? I'm not into that. But let me tell you what I'm not going to do. You're not going to tell me that fighting to be gay is the same as fighting to be black. You are not going to tell me that your struggle is the same as mine. Hell no! Gay people didn't build America, black people built America. Gay people wasn't systematically enslaved, black people were systematically enslaved. Gays and Latinos and women and Arabs and East Indians, none of them were ever considered to be less than human beings. You are the only victims of slavery in world history. And don't believe me, do your own research. You are the only, even the Bible. Look at slavery in the Bible. No other slavery except the white man's against the African were the victims considered not to be people. Do you realize we had to fight for our humanity before we could fight for equality? You had to prove that you was a man and a woman before you could prove to be equality. And you telling me we got to join ranks with homosexuals. And we we got to join ranks with the feminists. And I got to join ranks with Arabs and East Indians and Chinese who can't stand my ass any more than a white man. You out your mind. When I fight for black people, David. I'm not fighting for everybody. I'm fighting for mine. I'm so tired of broke-ass black people not being man enough and woman enough to say I'm black, David, and I don't care what the world think about me. Well, what about the poor white? Do you realize that the poor white, as broke as he is, as unemployed as he is, as in the ghetto as he is, as strung out on alcohol as he is, his ass ain't gotta never be shot in the head by the police for not standing still enough. Even broke, the white man got more power than I do. The hell wrong with you? You don't believe me? Go ask Bill Cosby. Now, me and Bill from the same section of North Philly. I just don't date white women. I didn't say I hate them. I don't hate. But I love and I'm committed to the black woman. Her heart, her mind, her energy, her divinity. And you black men gotta stop going outside your community to find your damn partner. I'm getting sick and tired of weak-ass black men making excuses for why you're not dating black women. It is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. Talk about she got issues. Your ass ain't got a job, but she got issues. Black woman ain't perfect. You get on her nerves, she'll put some business in the street. If that anniversary gift ain't nice enough, she'll sell you social at tax time. I know how it goes. But can't nobody understand your plight like she can because she lives. And they come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, so you ain't got no excuse. If you hung up on white folks, you can get one of the Lemon Sisters. You got butter almond, butter pecan, caramel, sweet brown sugar, fudge cookies, maca latte. The hell are you going outside the race for? Against the white woman, I just don't know what you find so attractive in her, that's all. Because I work with her, I don't know what you see. They ain't got the blessing of the sister's body, they ain't hourglass or none of that. Can't cook, ain't no seasoning in that damn beans. Damn mayonnaise this thick on the turkey sandwich. And that's your wife. You know it was black women who originated the same? Yep. That 30 is the new 50? Yep. The new 50? Yep. That come from black women because they hold so well the collagen in the melanin. Sister be 50 looking 30, be 70 looking 50. That's black woman. But you go get you a white woman, 2 kids later, 3 chins is hanging. Look like a turkey. You out with your wife, they say, that's your mom? Nah, that's my wife. Dang. Dang. But a white woman, they say, 30 is the new 50. White woman, they say, 80 is the new 30. Dang. It don't make no sense, y'all. I work in the schools with a little African girl say, Dr. Johnson, what's wrong with the way I look? What do you mean, princess? What's wrong with the way I look? I noticed that when y'all get successful, y'all leave us. They tell me this in the 3rd grade. messing with our baby self-esteem like that. Talking about all white people ain't bad. There's a such thing as good white people. Let me explain 3 rules of racism for y'all real quick. I need y'all to be clear. Half of your problem stems from the fact you don't understand white supremacy. Okay? So let's break it. Rule number 1. All white people. All white people. The ones here tonight too. All white people. All white people are racist. No, don't make me feel uncomfortable. We're not gonna do nothing to y'all. Don't start lying and shit. Just say and nigga rap doing the 620 on me. No. I want them to learn too. They need to learn this. I'm glad they can. Listen, well, Dr. Johnson, I got a problem believing that all white people are racist. That's because you confuse racism with racial hatred. White people don't have to hate you to be racist. Your wife might love you, black man, but she's still a white supremacist. You grew up with a white friend. Y'all still close like this, but they still a damn racist. Well, how do you explain this, Dr. Johnson? Real simple. I can explain it best with an example. I got an email from a black woman a couple months ago. She said, Dr. Johnson, I had a best friend, white girl, since we were 5. We went to kindergarten together, all the way through grade school, lived next door. My mom knew her mom. I used to loan her money. She loaned me money. Went through college together, worked at the same corporation. A new job offer came up. The white girl wasn't qualified. The sister was. She went and got an extra master's. Listen, instead of telling her black best friend since kindergarten that here's the job you should apply for, sister, because it's available, go get it. Instead, she went and told a white person who she didn't even know that this job is available. So the white person applies for the job and gets it. The sister finds out that her white best friend never told her about the job, and she's sending me this long email. Dr. Johnson, I know she care about me. No. I said she might. We've been through thick and thin. Yes, y'all did. We best friends. Yes, y'all are. So how do you explain her not telling me about the job and giving it to a white person she don't even know over her best friend who she grew up with? I said, you know the mistake you made? And this is the mistake so many black people make. You confuse personal with business. Listen to me, Arkansas. Y'all gotta get this, because a lot of y'all hung up on this. Y'all going to school together? That was personal. Y'all went to college together? That was personal. Living next door? That was personal. Loaning each other money? That was personal. All that was personal. What you fail to realize is that white woman has an obligation to her group to promote, protect, and guarantee black disadvantage and white privilege at all costs. She did what she's supposed to do. Look out for white people first. And that's what she did. Your problem is black people don't know how to do the same thing. A lot of y'all got that problem. You got good relationships with white folk, but you fail to realize that their obligation to protect their authority and domination over black folks comes before any personal relationship y'all can have. Y'all can eat together, y'all can sleep together, y'all can work together, y'all can vacation together. Whatever you want to do with white folks, you do, but don't you ever think for 1 minute that if they were presented with the opportunity to disadvantage you for the sake of their race, And that's the mistake y'all keep on making. They ain't got to hate you to be a racist. The best racists love the hell out of Negroes. Y'all invite them to your kids' birthday parties. You know, the token white person. This is Johnny, he listens to rap. And Johnny's steady taking pictures of all the kids in the house, turning them into child protective services. So you gotta understand something. The sister asked me on the radio today, she said, Dr. Johnson, well, can black people be racist? No. They can be prejudiced, but they can't be racist. Well, what's the difference? Prejudice is an attitude. Racism is a system. Racism is a system of disadvantage. It is a group system. That means every member of that community participates in its upkeep. All white people, directly or indirectly, all white people participate in the promotion and protection of white privilege in this country. All of them do. There's not a white person in Arkansas who would voluntarily give up their white privilege to be mistaken for you. And the liberal whites are the worst racists of them all. The one who want to be there. See, y'all don't get it. Our kids in college don't get it either, because I speak to the college students all around the country. They say, well, Dr. Umar, they dress like us. They listen to the same music. I think they black. No, you've got to realize that it is part of white adolescent development to rebel against the status quo. And so they try to become as black as they can. For a couple of years, they listen to your music, put rims on their car, wear your Air Force Ones, your Jordans, your do-rag, date black girls, right? The white girls sex all the athletes at the University of Arkansas, right? Sleeping with every athlete. That same white girl that's sexing the athletes, 20 years later, she will be the assistant district attorney for the United States, locking your black ass up like she never knew you. That's white supremacy. You don't understand that when white folk, they get to a certain point in their life, and then they gotta stop acting like they don't know what racism is and join the party. And this is why a lot of y'all get y'all feelings hurt, because you take a temporary rebellion against the status quo to be a permanent indication of their true personality. I'm not fooled. In fact, white people like me better than they like y'all. Because I'm honest. See, the white man know, I don't want to date your daughter. I do not want to live next to you. I don't want to go to your church. I don't want shit you got, so we can get along. Because I don't want nothing you got. But half of y'all here, you want to date his daughter, you want to live on his block, you want your kids to go to his school. You love white folks. They call me obviously, that one here is peculiar. I better understand racism. Take the emotion out of it. Emotion ain't got nothing to do with it. A white person don't have to personally hate you to work against your best interests. He's obligated to do so as a member of his race. Racism is a system that's implemented by one group against the other. Let me give you another example. If a white person does something to piss you off, doesn't make a difference. You can't mess with his job. You can't mess with his mortgage. You can't mess with his car note. It don't matter. All you can do is be mad. But let you piss a white person off. You get a little anxiety because your son goes to her husband's school. Your brother is going to be before her father, who's the judge. Your sister is getting a C-section tomorrow by her nephew. You concerned because that broke, poor white woman from the ghetto of Little Rock, who you think suffered just like the blacks, can pick up a phone and F your whole life up. Don't you ever confuse racism with prejudice. Now let's talk about Cosby. Bill Cosby made a living making white folks comfortable. His whole life was about making white folks laugh and entertain. Remember, Cosby is before Richard Pryor. Cosby is before Eddie Murphy. Cosby is before Kevin Hart. He's the first. This black man, for the past 20 years of his life, been doing what? Explaining away racism to black folks. Stop blaming white people. You need to get married before you have kids. Stop blaming white people. Make sure your kids go to school. Stop blaming white people. Clean up your neighborhood. And guess what? He was correct, but you don't let white folks off the hook for what they did. But Bill Cosby made a living defending white folk before you. But what he failed to realize is white people don't put black people in groups. So the chicken came home to roost. Now listen, I'm not going to trivialize violence against women. As a therapist, I would never do that. Black women are more likely to be raped or abused or sexually molested than any woman in this country. Because slavery overly subjectified you black women, it overly objectified you black women, it overly sexualized you. 1 out of every 3 black women, God forbid, will be abused sexually in some way, shape, or form in her life. The sad thing is most of the time it'll be by a relative. So I don't trivialize it. But how the hell are you going to make me believe that you got molested? You're a white woman, and you got sexually molested by the most popular comedian and actor at the time in 1975. Bill Cosby groped you in 75. And you wait from 75 to 2015 to let the world know about it when you old and nasty looking. You're not going to convince me that. Ain't no white woman who benefits from white privilege got an opportunity to destroy the #1 box office star in the country and don't say nothing until the man is old. They set Cosby up. I think he's about to get that network popping again. I know they killed his son the first time. He's about to make another push for it, and white supremacy got together and said, we got something for you. And you know what's crazy about it? This is how silly black folks is. Okay, 1 white woman, 2 white women, 3 white women. You mean to tell me 30 white women were meditating one night and had this great epiphany all at one time that we're going to come out of hiding all at once and say Bill Cosby molested us? Get the hell out of here. That was a setup, but he made a mistake being alone with white women. And y'all brothers better watch it out there, because she is still in control even when you lay on top of her. One phone call and mess your whole life up. Let that white woman call rape on you. You're done. Your life is over with. O-V-E-R. Now I want to talk about Willie Lynch for a minute. Willie Lynch. Now whether Willie Lynch existed or not, brothers and sisters, is irrelevant. It don't matter. The science is authentic. You gotta understand, black people invented the art of telling fables to communicate a profound truth. When you read the Bible, if you read the Bible literally as a historical document, then I'm probably going to diagnose you with some sort of condition. The Bible is not historically accurate at all, nor was it supposed to be. The Bible is told in parable to communicate spiritual truths through the use of a fairy tale. And we as African people, that's what we do. We invented the art of storytelling to teach lessons to the community. Nothing wrong with it. Willie Lynch said, I'm going to teach you slave masters 3 things. If you do them, you can rule your slaves for the rest of eternity. He said a lot, and I want to give you a focus on 3. First thing Willie Lynch said, never let your slaves communicate to each other in their native tongue. Make sure they speak your tongue. And the slave master said, why? And Willie Lynch said, because as long as they communicate in that African tongue, they will always remember a time when they were not slaves. It will be hard to break your slave if he doesn't think as you. And the only way he can think as you is to use the same language as you. But the slave masters didn't listen. In America, it was still illegal for you to get an education. They said, Willie Lynch don't know what the hell he's talking about. We not letting these blacks learn how to speak English because they beneath us. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Because they did that, they protected your African dialect, which survives to this very day. When black children are speaking in Arkansas, they not speaking English or broken English or Ebonics. They are speaking West African language. But the reason you don't understand it is because you confuse vocabulary with language. Vocabulary is only one part of a language. Language has a syntax. Language has a grammar, language has a phonology, language has a philosophy, language has a rhythm. The vernacular, the words, the vocab is the smallest part of a language. Let me give you some examples so you can understand what I'm talking about. Because I know there's a bourgeois Negro or two in the audience who's like, I cannot believe he's telling this to me. The problem with the bourgeois Negro is they think white folks got a problem with your son because his pants are sagging. They think white folks got a problem with your son because he listens to rap. They think white folks got a problem with your son because he don't wear a three-piece suit. They don't object to the rap. They control the rap. They don't object to the sagging pants. They made the pants the boy wearing. You know what they object to? The DNA in your son. The white man's eternal jealousy of the black man is phallic. And what I mean to say, if the white man wants to get rid of black people, he has to kill them. If the black man wanted to get rid of the white man, all he has to do is reproduce them out of existence. That is a jealousy. This is why a lot of y'all don't understand why racism still keeps treating us so bad when we already losing. Y'all say, damn, we already, damn, why they gotta keep killing black men like this? Because as long as there's a single black man around, he can change the color of the whole world, tan in 20 years, brown in 75, and black purple in 100. That's the genetic threat. That's why during slavery, they hung Italians, but they never castrated them. They hung Jews, but they never castrated. They hung Irish, but they never castrated. Only when they hung black men did they remove the reproductive organ. Do you know why? Because that represented the insecurity times jealousy. See, a lot of black men got it wrong. You think the white man is jealous of your penis size. Not all of you are blessed. That ain't it. It ain't got nothing to do with size. Ask any sister in here. We not all blessed. You can kill that. Okay? Okay? Peter, okay? Listen. It's not the size of the black man's phallus that is the source of jealousy. It's the potency in it. Anything a black man lays with produces another black child. Anything a black woman lays with produces another black child. You're the only people in the world that is true for. You can reproduce every other race, but not a single one can produce you. That's why they can't stand your ass. And as long as you are around, they cannot stand you. And they hate the fact that they done put you through so much and you still got a nerve to be proud about who the hell you is. They can't stand the fact that we didn't come honest to y'all. And they still standing on their own too. Nobody could have went through what the hell you went through and still got your head up the way that you have it up. That's why. That's why. So let me give you these differences between European language and West African language. Now I know some of y'all say y'all don't come from Africa, and I'm not going to debate you. But I guarantee if I take your ass to West Africa, I will find you 10 people who look just like you. Anyway, so take that to somebody who don't know nothing. I was talking to a Negro the other day. He said, listen, I'm from another planet. See, this is what I got to go through. fools who gotta engage me in a conversation. They be at the airport, there you go. Get his ass, come on, man. What? Can I help you? Yeah, man, listen. We just gotta talk to you, man. I understand you're the man. Yes. Most requested princess. That shit don't mean nothing else, man. That shit don't mean nothing. I just did 10 years in the joint. That shit don't mean nothing. But I got a question. Listen to me, man. Because I hear the pen after the shit, the garbage, I feel all that shit. That don't mean nothing. Wait a minute. Did you know, brother Dr. Johnson, that there's people who live under the earth? Why do I need to know that shit? Or they want to come help me fight against white supremacy? And the reason I'm bringing this up, Little Rock, is when you get into black consciousness, you gotta be careful not to let somebody send you on an escapism vacation. Because there's too many people who don't want to solve your problems, they want to give you a pacifier. You can't pray your way out of this. You can't alien ass your way out of this. You can't meditate your way out of racism. You got to work your way out of this. I don't offer you no get rich quick scheme, because it ain't no get rich quick scheme. And then we got a get free quick scheme. Change your name. Racism won't matter. Move to my colony. Racism won't matter. Racism will always matter. You got to fight your... Who you know ever came out of racism with a religion? Or a protest? Or changing their name? Or saying that they was an alien? You hate yourself so damn much you don't even want to be from here. The problem with the black conscious movement is it ain't building nothing to help nobody. It's all information. Information. Everywhere you go. Read this. Watch this. Have you heard this? YouTube this. We done went from crack addicts to information addicts. Brothers is high on information. Man, dog, this got me talking. You see that last Dr. Umar? The information is necessary, but the information is not sufficient. You can't study your way out of this. You got brothers talking about, I can't fight in the freedom struggle till I learned enough. So I got 30 books, brother. I'm going to read these 30 books, Doc, and when I'm done reading this and I'm mastering the equations in this, I'm going to come back and help you build the school. 30 books later, and you're on the first page of the first book. You ain't got to know everything before you do anything. We didn't let the information become a weapon of racism. Because now all you want to do is study. And all you become is another Negro intellect with no power. White man don't care how much knowledge you got. Where your banks at? Where your hospitals at? Where your airplanes? Where your shipping industry at? Talking about you free because you got a right to vote. White folks is laughing at you. Slavery ended, we own 1/2 of the wealth in America. Here we are 150 years later, and we still only own 1/2 of the wealth. 1/2 of a percentage of the wealth. Broke as hell, don't know enough to talk about you in America. Got your son saying the Pledge of Allegiance every day for 180 days times 12. How the hell you gonna get free with your kids being indoctrinated by your oppressor? Do you know the best ages to indoctrinate a child is 5 to 15? Whoever controls your child from 5 to 15 control them for the rest of their life. We want to send them to the white man and then get them back and try to re-Africanize him. We're going to have a re-Africanization program, brother. What the hell is that? Drums and shea butter? What the hell is that? Can't shea butter your way out of this. I don't even do shea butter. I do cocoa butter. Black folks is crazy. The first difference between European language and African language. European language is all about the effective enunciation of the phonemes in every word. Many English languages, their words end in consonants. P's, Q's, R's, S's, consonants. Most West African languages, the words end in vowels. A, E, I, O, and U. Because the words end in vowels, they nicely flow together. So when African people talk, it sounds like they're saying one thing when they make an entire statement, because the vowels from this word connect to the vowels in that word. It's not broken English, it is African. If you go to Ghana, if you go to Senegal, you go to Liberia, you go to Nigeria, you go to Mali, all of the words run together because in West African language, it is a harmonizing language. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. White people will say, we are getting ready to have supper tonight with the Thompsons. You see how all their words end with consonants? And they gotta articulate every vowel. Breath humming every vowel. Black folks don't have that. Our words end with vowels, theirs end in consonants. So instead of saying we are getting ready to go have supper with the Thompsons, black people will say, I'm fixing to get something to eat. Some strips and rice. I'm packed. Give me some of that cornbread. You don't say bread, you say cornbread. Our languages end in vowels, theirs end in consonants. Next difference between African language and European language. European language is about the effective communication of a message. After white folks get finished talking to you, they say, did you understand what I said? Did you hear me? Did you catch everything that I just enunciated? Right? White folks value you understanding what they said. African people value what you said too. But we on another level. We don't value what you said only. We value what you meant by what you said. So with black folks, when we get finished talking to each other, we don't say, did you understand everything I said? We say, did you feel me? Because when black people communicate, we don't communicate messages, we communicate vibrations. Are y'all following me? That's why sister might say something to you, and you might say, damn what you said. I'm going to tell you what I felt what you said. Because the black folk, we know you can lie out your mouth. So we don't pay no attention to the damn word. We feeling your vibe. When you was over your son's birthday party with your wife, and your son's mom was there, your ex-wife was there, you was there with your new wife. Right? And your son's mom comes to you and say, tell your wife we appreciate her coming to participate in Rashad's birthday party. It was nice meeting your wife. I wish you luck. And then you go to your wife and say, babe, you know, Shaquita said, damn that shit. That's what she said. But the whole time I was there, I was feeling some other shit up there. Y'all know what the hell I'm talking about? Little Rock, do you feel me? Y'all know how it goes. That's why I always tell people relationship therapy. Don't ever settle down yet till you see your potential spouse around his baby mom or her around her baby dad. Because you can tell, because that vibe, because we vibration. Oh, hell yeah, we vibe. Black people are a rhythm nation. If she's still in love with him, if he's still in love with her, they will start breaking. Why you can't sit still? That's why white folks don't understand. They say they always dancing. See, what white folks don't understand, listen. We are in rhythm with the pulse of the universe. We are made of the same carbon. We are made of the same electric. We are made of the same ashe as the planets. So when the beat comes to the room, everybody in this room, ain't none of y'all got to know each other. Ain't nobody in here got to know each other. But if the ancestors send a beat to the universe, everybody in here will float to the sun. Because that's who we are. Now let me give you one more difference between white language and black language. In white language, only one person is allowed to talk at a time. White culture is hierarchical. African culture is horizontal. So in white culture, because they are an elitist people, one person speaks and all the children must listen. That's not black culture. Our culture is participatory. Our culture is call and response. Our culture is collective. Our culture is inclusive. Our culture is communalistic. Do you know what that means? We don't have to wait for one person to stop. If Dr. Umar is talking, Katrina might feel my vibe and pick up where I was, cut me off in the middle of my statement, and finish it out. And then I say, we on the same vibe. And then the next African to go and pick it up. And the next thing you know, all of us is talking all at the same time. White folks going to crazy. And black folks is talking. And then we all understand each other. Didn't miss a beat. Because that's how we operate. The black child is not a white child painted black. And y'all need to understand that. Now, Little Rock, I got some bad news for y'all. Remember I was talking about after the Civil Rights Bill, they went into the high schools and took all the building trade programs out? After that, they then said, in order to control black folks, we can't control black folks with white power no more. That don't look right. We gotta control black people with black people. So guess what they did in Little Rock? And guess what they did in Pine Bluff? They deliberately educated certain key Negroes to status positions so they can control the rest of y'all. Listen to me. The new racism is to act like there is no racism. No racism. And so now they put the oppression in a black face so it looks like it had nothing to do with it. Now let's talk about the 5 families of the black bourgeoisie. Here's the media family. The media Negroes are Negroes in Little Rock and Pine Bluff and all across Arkansas. They got websites and newspapers, magazines, radio shows, TV shows, but they never talk about anything relevant to black life. Are y'all listening to me? They don't talk about the unemployment of black men. They don't talk about the mass incarceration of our juveniles. They don't talk about how black women have the highest infant mortality rate in the most developed country in the Western world. Black women have been having babies since the beginning of time, and now black women can't have babies no more. Y'all having record numbers of stillborn fetus, record numbers of unintentional abortion, record number of cesarean section birth. And some of you sisters need to go to midwifery school. You become doulas and midwives and start delivering babies. Me personally, I got a problem with the fact that the first thing a black child sees in Arkansas when they come from their mother is the hands of their oppressor. Do you realize the white man see your baby before his daddy? When my daughter was born, the doctor had to give me my baby. He touched the baby first. That's called baptism into white supremacy. And we got to change that. That's why babies be crying and shit when they come out. Black woman, you got to know how, if it was up to me, all y'all would go to Africa or to the Caribbean to have your baby when you was close. Your 9th month, your 10th month, you would spend it, because the queen mothers know how to handle that. You don't have no baby laying on no damn table, first of all. That ain't African. Gravity works vertically, not horizontally. Your problem, black woman, is you want to look sophisticated while you're having a baby. In Africa, they make you squat. They take you on the back, they get the spiritual thing right, they do the prayers, they invoke the ancestor, because every life is an ancestor return. You do know that. See, European timeline is like this. African timeline is like this. Everyone who has lived will come back to live again to finish the destiny you have not completed. And then they will tell you to do what? Act like you're going to the bathroom. And you do. But along with all that, the baby comes on out, you relax those hip muscles, and that baby come right on out. It's easy to have a baby. But you keep trying to do it the white man's way, and he intentionally wants you laying like this so he can say, the baby not coming. We gotta do a C-section. Then they cut you, then once they cut you once, they want to keep on cutting you. They never want you to have another baby naturally. Why? Because cesarean section birth is emergency surgery. They get more money from your insurance for cutting you the hell open. Don't no white man want to stand by your side while you go through a 24-hour labor and look through the legs of a black woman for 24 hours. He said, I could have had 5 babies by now. And she's still over here huffing and puffing. Dang that, cut her. That's why at Fred Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, when we opened up the Anna Douglas and Amy Garvey Academy, we will teach the girls how to deliver babies in high school. They're going to know in high school how to bring that baby into the world. Look, I knew a brother who was so fed up with white supremacy, he delivered his own baby. He didn't have a GED or nothing. No, this is a true story. That brother got some clean towels, clean scissors, I don't know how he sanitized it. And he delivered his baby in his house. Yes, he did. And I'm not advocating that, brother. It worked for him, it might not work for you. So you got the media bourgeois. Instead of talking about black problems, they spend all day talking about Kanye West's upcoming concert. Who hit the lottery last night? Somebody got robbed at the Chinese stop and go last night. They don't talk about nothing relevant. That's their job, to keep you distracted from the real issues. So that's the media bourgeois. Then you got the entertainment bourgeois. Excuse me. Entertainment bourgeois. These are blacks in the entertainment industry. They got money, they got power, but they don't talk about their issues, and they don't give no money to your causes. And then you got the higher education bourgeois. Negroes who work at the black colleges in Arkansas, work at the white colleges in Arkansas, work for the school district, and whenever somebody asks them why the black kids ain't learning, because his pants are sagging, his mom ain't married, his daddy's in jail. That ain't the damn truth. The reason they not learning is a racist ass white women don't want to. That's the real truth, but they're not going to tell you that. The higher ed bourgeois, the media bourgeois, and then you got the money bourgeois. Negroes with money. Y'all got some blacks in Arkansas got a couple dollars. But they ain't got no money for the hood. Now when Hillary Clinton come to town, they write her a big check. Hillary get a big check. If you need money for your after school program, you can't get a damn dime. You got a summer camp for girls, you can't get a damn penny. You working with teenage mothers, you can't get a damn dollar. But Hillary can get it. Bernie can get it. Hell, they even give Trump a check before they give it to you. Bernie Negro. And then you got the status Negro of Arkansas.
Come on.
These are Negroes with titles.
Come on.
Good God Almighty. You know, a Negro love a title more than he love a paycheck. and you ain't got to pay his ass. I ran into a brother the other day. He said, I'm the senior assistant undersecretary for the deputy temporarily appointed third vice chair assistant. For trash collection. Listen, status Negroes are very important. Status Negroes are one of your biggest problems. Because the Negro will have a business card to make you think he got some power. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So he said, hold on, we want to get that lot across the street. We're going to turn that into a community garden. We're going to teach the children how to grow their own food. So you go to the Negro who gave you the long card. Excuse me, so you're the senior assistant deputy vice chair to the third, fourth, second. You're trying to get that lot. Sorry, brother, that's never under my jurisdiction. You gotta go to the mayor's office. You go to the mayor. Negro gave you another card. You're the mayor's deputy vice temporarily appointed under assistant secretary to the not yet existing Negro Chamber of Commerce. You go to him, sorry sir, that's not under me. You gotta go see the managing director. Damn. You go to the manager, another card. Brother, we trying to get the lot for the I'm sorry, they just took, you gotta go see the state rep. Damn, state rep, come on, we need this. You done went to 20 Negroes. And they kept sending you to other Negroes. You know why? Because they don't have no authority. Now, if they was real, they would have told you that. They would have said, listen, fam. He said, listen, fam, I ain't really got no damn power. I'm just trying to pay my bills. I can't even read this shit. What's this word right here? Undersecretary. Y'all gotta stop being fooled by Negroes with titles. They put them in front of you on purpose to make you think they can make a difference. And then what do they say? Give us some time to work the system. They said that when he was 20. You came back, you 40. You almost got it. Hold on. 20 more years. You're 60. Sometimes you take patience. See, this is how white folks get you, because they get you put your faith in some Negro. And the next thing you know, it's almost time for you to join your maker. And you wasted your whole life waiting for a change. Stop waiting for it, make it. What's the fifth and final family? The most dangerous of all five. The religious bourgeoisie. Reverend Chicken Wing, Pastor Pork Chop, Deacon Kool-Aid. I ain't got a problem with your religion. I'm a descendant of African Methodist Episcopal Church preachers. I come from that line. My fourth grand uncle, Bishop Alexander Wayne, was the seventh successor to Richard A.L.L. My grandfather Stephen, my grandfather George, the brother and nephew of Fred Douglas, they were pastors in A.M.E. I got an uncle who's a pastor today. I don't have an issue with your religion. I got an issue with the way you let certain people exploit it for personal advantage. Let me get this right. You teach me that money is the root of all evil. But you don't have a problem taking all of mine. My problem with the church is we give the church too much money to not get nothing in return. You got a $2 million mortgage on a new church. But you expecting grandma to pay that on her fixed income. Come on, come on. What was wrong with the other church? Nothing. The problem is you compete with another Negro for the biggest church in Little Rock. You ain't about the people. That ain't God's money. That's the white man's money. You don't believe me? When you go to church Sunday, ask your pastor, what bank does this money go to after you collect it? Come on, man. You go to Chase Manhattan and Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Listen to me, Little Rock. Y'all need to get this. Grandma been going to that church for 50 years. Grandma put $50 in a week. $50 a week. $50 a week times 50 years is a nice penny. The pastor, he's not progressive. He's not thinking about black folks. If he was, all the black pastors in Little Rock would come together and build a central black bank of Little Rock if they were serious. But they're not serious. And they compete with each other too much to work together. So you know what they do? They put their money in white banks. And guess what the white bank do? He gets your Jesus money every week. Your Jesus money every week. It's adding up, millions, tens of millions. And then you take your Jesus money and the white bank gives your Jesus money to a white construction company who want to come into the ghetto of Little Rock where the church is at. Buy up all the abandoned homes, all the lots, all the houses for sale, turn them into mini mansions, gated community, strip mall, Starbucks, Walmart. Raise the property value on grandmama's house, which raises her taxes. And the next thing you know, grandma getting a notice in the mail that your tax rate went up, and grandma say, I can't afford this, I'm on a fixed income. And they say, so sorry, we're gonna have to take your house. Since you won't sell it, we're going to declare eminent domain. And in the final analysis, grandma got put out of her own house with her own Jesus money that she was giving to the pastor. Your money is working for white folks more than it's working for you. Listen, we keep talking about supporting black business, but supporting the black business don't mean nothing if you ain't got black banks to keep their money. Because if everybody in here owns a business and all your money is going to a white bank, they make more money off your money than you do. Until we talk bank, don't come to me with no business. Oprah Winfrey is worth $1 billion. I bet you it's in a white bank. Michael Jordan, LeBron, I bet you it's in a white bank. Jay-Z, LeBron, I bet you it's in a white bank. All your black charter schools in Arkansas, I bet you they money in a white bank. Do you know how many black people you can hire just off the interest from that money? Do you know how many businesses you could start just off the interest of that money? My problem with church ain't the Bible or the Quran. I ain't got a problem with them books. I got a problem with any leader who tells you you have to die before you can experience heaven. If the white man got his now, I want mine now. And if the Chinese got his now, I want mine now. And if the Arab got his now, I want mine now. And I'm going to take it if you don't give it to me, goddamn. Because God made this world for all black people. I'm not nobody's footstool. I got to die to get to heaven. Somebody told me, Dr. Johnson, you can have all the schools you want. All you got to do is become a preacher. He said, your problem, you keep talking that Pan-African gaudy shit. He said, become a man of the cloth. And Jehoshaphat spoke to the tribes and said, give me your damn welfare money. Give me your cheesesteak money. Give me your blood money. And I will take this money and take it to Jehoshaphat in the tribe. Let me heal your head, sister. And we will get all the money for the schools and the cat. Child, bring me some Kool-Aid, please. I'm catching them. I could do it, but that ain't my heart. And whatever you do, Little Rock, I don't know what's going on with the choir. If you have a son, I don't think he should be in the choir. I don't know if it's the Kool-Aid. I don't know if it's the chicken wings. It might be the velour robe. But something happens when our boys put the robe on. They walk in there swaggerlicious. 2 more of them remixes. And you know they got the groove. Don't let your son sing. He can play the drums. Don't let him sing. Then Willie Lynch said after you teach him your language, you gotta find every petty difference in Little Rock, Arkansas, and use it against the black folk. He said they love to fight with each other over nonsensical issues. He said put the light skin in Little Rock against the dark skin in Little Rock. Put the college educated against those who dropped out. Put the married families against the single parent family. Put those with a bachelor's against those with a doctorate. Put the Masons against the Elks. Put the Kappas against the Qs. Put the Alphas against the Sigmas. Put the SG Rows against the AKAs. Put the Deltas against the Zetas. And I'm just using this characterologically speaking, but they said make the differences. Marcus Garvey said that we are a race cursed with petty differences. If we can't find a reason to fight, we'll make one up. Listen to me, Little Rock. I'm not looking for conscious black folks. I'm looking for black folks who care. I'm not looking for well-read black folks. I'm looking for black folks with common sense. Do you know how hard it is to organize black people who think they're smarter than other black people? Have you ever tried that? You ever give somebody a book to read and wish you never gave it? He read one book and he going around trying to correct everybody. I'm so tired of this infighting over historical differences. Who was better? Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey.
Come on.
Who was better? Dr. York, Noble Drew. Who better? The Nawapians or the Hebrews? Is it the Moors or the Pan-Africanists? Is it the socialists or the Indians? It don't make a difference. I don't care what you belong to. We all need food, clothing, shelter, decent education, security, health care. What we fighting for? Listen. I don't care what you call your God.
That's right.
If you want to refer to supreme consciousness as Jehovah, Allah, Jesus, Amin-Ra, Chukwu, Yahweh, Olodumare, whatever name you want to use, you use it. Why, Dr. Umar? Because everybody has a right to refer to their creator by whatever name they feel most comfortable with. Listen, we can all be brothers and sisters in the same family. Don't your brother call your mom a certain name? And you got a certain name. And the grandkids got a certain. Everybody refers to Big Mama, but they use their own Big Mama title. So why we all got to call God by the same name? First of all, there is no one name that can define the undefinable any damn way. All of them are superficial. They all are superficial. Allah ain't good enough. Amin-Ra ain't good enough. Jehovah ain't. None of them are sufficient. Because you can't name the unnameable. So I respect your right to call God what you want. Who am I to tell you what to refer to your creator as? And guess what? If you can't give God one name, you can't give God's first people one name either.
That's correct.
If you want to refer to yourself as a Moor, I'm going to respect that. I ain't got no problem. You want to be a Hebrew? Cool. Nawapian, African, I'll keep it on. Whatever you want. Just don't say you an alien, please. I can take this shit. But my point is, y'all, we fighting over irrelevancies.
Right.
You think you can find the right name, and if we all called ourselves that, it'll end oppression? You can't name yourself out of oppression. It's called escapism. I talked about that earlier. One magic bullet ain't gonna fix this. And furthermore, I embrace diversity within consciousness. I'm glad my Hebrew brother don't see the problem the same way I do. I'm glad my Moorish brother don't see the problem the same way I do. I'm glad my Nation of Islam brother, my God and Earth brother, I'm glad they don't see the problem the same way I do. I want different perspectives. And when it's time to implement the solutions, guess what? We're not going to choose the best one. We put them all in play. Because until we solve our problems, who the hell are you to say what ain't good enough? I want the moral solution. I want put them in play. Stop fighting over petty differences. And what's the third thing that Willie Lynch said? And this is most important. He said, in order to control black folks, you have to break the black woman's natural respect. Here we go. You gotta break the black woman's natural respect for the black man. He said, line up all your female slaves and get all the slave children with them. Line them up in one line. Then find the biggest, meanest black buck you got. And bring that buck before the women and children and beat him down mercilessly to within an inch of his life. Don't kill the Negro slave, but beat him so bad he will wish he was so. He said, then tar and feather him. If the women don't want to look, force their faces. Make the woman look at what you're doing to their men. Make the kids look. Even a child of 1 year old will be traumatized by seeing daddy like this. And then after you tar and feather that Negro, pick him up, tie one leg to one horse facing that direction and another leg to another horse facing that direction. Beat both horses simultaneously until they run in opposite direction. Split that nigga's body in two. When you do this, the black woman who once had respect for the black man will have contempt. The black woman who once saw him as honorable will see him as dishonorable. The black woman who once looked to the black man for support and protection now feels like she got to support and protect him. But he said, you know the greatest effect of this is that black woman pregnant with that black baby boy. She will raise that man's son like a coward for fear that what happened to his daddy might happen to him. And thus she protects him too much. She don't give him no discipline. She don't give him no structure. She don't give him no backbone. She all but makes her son a woman in principle. Single black mothers, I applaud you for the great job you've done raising these kids on your own. Put your hands together for all the black mothers in here. Single and married. They've been holding it down. They've been holding it down. But I do want to say this. Some of my single black mothers, and yes, you can take pictures, I don't have a problem with that. Some of my single, them too, some of my single black mothers have been raising your son to be the exact type of man that you yourself would never want to date. You say you want a man that's responsible, your son is not. You want a man that's a provider, your son is not. You want a man who is ambitious with industry and initiative, your son lazy as hell. And you better be careful, because it could be that the men you keep getting in your life are nothing but the son you raised, coming back through karma. I want to talk about the ice people and the sun people, and then we're going to bring it to a close. Before I do, before you leave here tonight, where that sign is she that Queen Deborah is up here. We want to circulate this. We need everybody to sign up, because one thing we want to do today is we want to organize the Little Rock, Arkansas, Pine Bluff chapter of the National Independent Black Parent Association. And I need every last one of y'all to be a part of this, whether you have children or not. Whether you have children or not. Why is that? Because in African culture, the children don't belong to the parents. In African culture, the children belong to the village. The ancestors sent that child through you, but does not belong to you. It belongs to all of us. And why does that make sense, Dr. Johnson? Because if you don't raise your sons right, and he runs into my daughter, he might destroy my daughter's life. So your children are not your business. Your children are all of our businesses. Because what you do in your house affects the whole community. And that's why they say it takes a village to raise a child. Listen up. All of you will sign up. But I need some of you to be organizers. If you're interested in being an organizer, you will indicate it so on the sign-up sheet with a star, or you will text my cell number and say, Doc, I want to organize the Pine Bluff chapter, or I want to help organize the Little Rock chapter. And for those of you who come from other cities, you need your own chapter. Some of you came here today from other states. We need chapter. Every school district in America must have a chapter. The first committee, special ed. The special ed committee is going to investigate special ed in Little Rock, Pine Bluff, wherever you're from. How many black kids in special ed in school number 1? How many black kids in special ed in school number 2? Are they in special ed for autism? Are they in special ed for retardation? Are they in special ed for the learning disability? Are they in special ed for speech and language? Are they in special ed for deafness, blindness, traumatic brain injury, orthopedic impairment, multiple disability, or developmental delay? Are they in special ed part-time, or are they in special ed full-time? Because I'm willing to bet that any of you have a son with an IEP, incarceration education plan, I'm willing to bet that he in special ed full-time. Now listen, special ed law says what? If a child is in special ed for reading, he should only be in special ed for what class? Reading. And if he got a math disability, he should only be in special ed for what class? And if they got a writing disability, they should only be in special ed for what class? So why is your son in special ed for reading, math, history, lunch, recess, class trip, bathroom? Did you know that's against the law? That's why we need a special ed. And you do know every time I put a child in special ed, the school gets extra money, right? You do know special ed is a business, right? You do know special ed is a hustle, right? You do know special ed is a racket. It's an economic stimulus package. It's called double jeopardy. I'm going to miseducate your child, and then I'm going to special educate your child and get paid after I miseducate him. The special ed kids are worth twice the money as the regular kids. So if Little Rock, Arkansas spends $8,000 a year per pupil, once Dr. Johnson says he's retarded, autistic, LD, ADHD, MR, he ain't worth $8,000, he's worth $16,000. And they get that extra 8 every year. The special kids are worth more than the regular kids. Here's my question to you special ed parents. Is your special ed child getting his money's worth? But the problem with education is we got too many black children who got teachers who don't care and parents who couldn't care less. And there's nothing worse than having a teacher who don't care and a parent who can care less. So we got to investigate special ed. What school is putting the most black kids in special ed? What school is putting the most in for the learning disability? What school has the most kids on psychiatric medicine? What school has the most being tested for ADHD? We got to get the data down to a science so we can come up with our special ed committee platform. And we step to the district and we say, these are the changes we want in special ed. And if we don't get them soon, mayor, you're not getting reelected. State rep, state senator, it's over for you. We're going to use our political might to get people the hell out of office. And if it gets too bad, we're going to have to boycott public education and pull all the kids the hell out until they get to them schools. Just like Dr. King did with the Montgomery bus boycott. Show your power! The bourgeois niggas like, damn, you can't do that. Because see, the job of the bourgeois, they the gatekeeper. The bourgeois, the gatekeeper. You can't get to the master, you got to deal with the watchdog. Did y'all hear that? So they got all these dogs, pit bulls, Rottweilers, Great Danes. Fuck with my color. You probably got some watchdogs in here tonight, don't you? And then we're going to have a school discipline committee because too many black boys being expelled from Little Rock's public school. Too many black boys being suspended on a daily basis in Pine Bluff. Don't talk to me about a dropout rate till you talk to me about the push-out rate. Black boys drop out because you send them a clear message that I'm not wanted. If I'm being suspended 2 days out of every 5, it's clear you don't want me here. Then you want to refer me to special ed? Refer me to special ed? How about I can't read because y'all never leave me in class long enough to learn how to? Parents, you got to take control. When the school calls you into the meeting, you don't tell them, you don't let them tell you why Johnny can't read. You tell them why Johnny can't read. Well, your son is in the 5th grade and he's still reading on the 2nd grade level. We think he needs to be tested. You ain't testing my son. Let me tell you why my son can't read. In the 2nd grade, y'all suspended him 2 days out of every week. He wasn't in the class long enough to learn how. In the 3rd grade, he had this brand new white teacher who could barely read her damn self. Didn't know how to teach nobody, so he learned nothing in the 3rd grade. 4th grade, the teacher went out on maternity leave in January, and my son had 25 substitutes from January to June. So don't come telling me why he can't read. Tell me why y'all never taught him how. My son ain't going to special ed. This boy ain't going to prison for your ass. But let me tell you what you're going to do, because you're a Title I school. You get extra money for reading and math. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to get my child a tutor who's going to work with him after school twice a week for 45 minutes. Listen to me, y'all. A child can improve a grade level in 6 weeks. You don't need special ed. You don't need special ed. Get him a tutor. And I'm not talking about the $18,000 sibling tutoring program. Because some of y'all is being played like suckers. I met a parent the other day. I'm paying Sylvan Learning Center in Montgomery Learning Center $25,000 to close my son's reading gap. I had to take out a second mortgage and refinance. Listen, you talking to a master school site. What are you doing for $25,000? If you're willing to give white folks that kind of money, I'm gonna open up my own damn Sylvan. They playing y'all for a sucker. Talking about we got this real special reading program. They ain't got nothing special. They using your fear to fuel a machine. Let me tell you what works better than silver. A college student. That's right. You got college students on this campus right here who wouldn't mind working with your child $20 an hour 3 times a week. It's nothing. Get you a retired teacher. All the retired teachers y'all got in the hood, get a retired teacher to tutor your child. Get a high school student. That's right. Get you one of them students with straight A's and B's, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, and come work with your 6th and 7th grade. Keep an eye on them now. So we're going to have a discipline committee to study the suspension, study the expulsion. You know if your child is in special ed, they can only be suspended 10 total days out the school year. Look at the special ed. What did he say? I said that if your son is in special ed, he can only be suspended 10 days. You said, well, Dr. Johnson, my son been in special ed his whole life and he's been suspended more than 10 days. My second question, did you write down all the suspension dates? No, you didn't. Because you're lazy. So you're going to go to the school and you're going to request a printout. And when you get the printout, it's only going to be 8 days. And you're going to say, my son was suspended on this one. And the principal will say, no. Remember I told you on the phone that we wasn't going to count it as a suspension since you came to pick him up early. We called it an early dismissal because we ain't going to mess up your son's record. And you thought the principal was looking out for you. The principal wasn't looking out for you. He was looking out for himself. Because he know if he suspend that special ed kid 11 days, you got grounds to force the Little Rock Public School District to pay for your son to go to a private school. Special ed law says if the parent can prove that the district ain't teaching the disabled child, you can make them pay for a private school. I know because I help parents do it all the time and I help lawyers do it all the time. That's the federal law. If you can prove that my son been in special ed for 3+ years and ain't learned nothing as a result of it, you pick your school and the district pays for it. That is the law. But in order for me to help you do that, you gotta have your paperwork, you gotta have your evaluations. We want to get your child another evaluation to make sure he didn't grow as much as you claim. But if that evaluation says that boy only reading on the 5th, and he'd been in special ed for 5 years, and he went in special ed on the 4th, only 1 year of progress in 4 years, as far as I'm concerned, the district ain't teaching. These are the laws, and they are undisputed. A lot of principals don't even know the law. I came across some teachers who got in trouble because they made the kids stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. You cannot force a child to say the Pledge of Allegiance. The United States Supreme Court had already affirmed that. It's parents' choice. But y'all still got your kids pledging that flag, pledging white supremacy. But I'm going to tell you what you do. Tell your son, the next time they try to make him get up and pledge the flag, tell him to do the Pledge of Black Power. I pledge allegiance to all you devils die. I bet you he ain't got to say no more. I'll bet you in the back. My mom said I don't say the pledge. Well, why doesn't your mother want you to pledge allegiance? My mom said I don't pledge. Why doesn't your mother? I'll say it. These damn devils need to go. It is your, and guess what? You don't have to give an excuse or a reason. My kids don't pledge the flag. Why is that? I don't have to explain it to you, man. They don't pledge. And then you write a letter to the principal and say, my son is being harassed to say the pledge. If I say it again, I'm going to sue y'all. That's a violation of my rights. You have no right to be questioning my child. And that's another thing, parents. Stop telling the school all your business. Black mother, would you please shut your damn mouth? Listen, please don't call me up here no more. My son's father just got locked up yesterday. I'm working 2 jobs. I don't have no support. My mother just moved out of town. I got 5 kids and I'm raising them all on my own. Please, Miss Slurbinsky, please. Miss Slurbinsky, if you keep on calling me, my boss said he's gonna fire me. I can't keep taking off to come. And guess what Miss Slurbinsky's gonna do? She's gonna say, oh my God, you are my hero. You're raising 5 kids on your own, no father. You're working too. Oh my God, you are such an honorable American. I'm going to nominate you for Parent of the Year. And after you leave, after she made you feel good, guess what Miss Levinson going to do? She's going to go to the principal. Principal Stroganoff. She said that the father got locked up, she working 2 jobs, and if she got to take off work again, she's going to lose it. You just gave them the weapon to break your damn back. That's what they're going to do tomorrow. Call you! And you will come back. You say, Miss Romanowski, we talked, and you told me, I know. It's not even me, it's the system. We're required, if a child cases, we're required to report the parents to Child Protective Services. I am so sorry. I didn't want to do it, but my small learning community leader, she's such a bitch. She told me that if I don't do this, and Miss Urbanowski got you thinking that she ain't the reason your son about to get put out if you don't put him on the medicine. They all work together. Listen, the school is an extension of the criminal industrial complex. The teachers are the new police officer. Anything you tell them can and will be used against you. Can I give you another piece of advice, parents? Never let the school counselor counsel your children. Never let the school counselor counsel your children. Why not, Dr. Johnson? Because school counselors don't counsel, but they will get all into your family business. Who did your mom have in her room last night? Does it smell like marijuana? How much food is in the refrigerator? How many, do you be home on the weekends, or do you leave you at your grandma's? Before you know it, you got Child Protective Services doing an investigation, and you say, what the hell is this over? School counseling. So what do you do when they say the child got some emotional problems and need to talk to somebody? This is what you say. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I'm going to get a private counselor or therapist to talk with my child. If there's anything further you need to know about the situation, I will personally let you know. Well, we have a school counselor on staff. Why pay for it? No, thank you. I'm going to get my own. That should always be your answer. I'm going to get my own therapist. And then the school is going to say, would you mind signing this release of information so we can talk with the counselor about your child? And what should you say to that? Hell no. Why do I want a white person going behind my back to talk to another white person about my child? No. If there's anything you need to know from the therapist, I will tell you. Also, if your child is evaluated and you don't agree with the evaluation, you have a right to demand a second opinion of the school. It's called independent educational evaluation. Y'all don't know this. If the report come back and say he retarded and you don't agree, you write a letter to the principal. Miss Slurbinsky, I'm in receipt of Raheem's psychological evaluation. I've read it thoroughly. I do not agree that he has a reading disability. I believe my son simply hasn't been taught. I'm now requesting my parental right, federal and state right, for an independent education evaluation. I understand that I have a right to choose the school psychologist. Once you approve my request, I will provide you with the name of the school psychologist I've chosen. So we got to find some black school psychologists in Arkansas who got the backbone and the guts to retest your child and take you into that meeting and read off the report and say nothing wrong with this boy. Y'all never taught him, now I'm teaching. I do them in Pennsylvania all the time. In fact, I do so many, they automatically know I'm the one going to do it. So when the black parents say, Miss Slurbanowski, they say, we already know, go ahead and get them. In fact, I had one school district, the parents requested me so much, the school district called me up and gave me the damn contract to test all the kids. They said all they gonna do is call you anyway, so they just gave me the damn contract. And check it out. When they approve you for the independent evaluation, they're gonna give you a list of psychologists. I need y'all to know that you don't have to choose nobody off that list. Did y'all hear what I just said? They're gonna give you a list. These are the psychologists that we normally work with. Don't go off that list. If they on the list, what does that mean? Thank you. You never choose a psychologist. I'm on no list in Pennsylvania, but I get all the evals. I got one soon when I get back. Yeah, that's how that works. So that's why we need the special ed committee. That's why we need the discipline committee. Then we're going to have a policy committee because we got some policies in Little Rock and Pine Bluff that don't work in the best interest of our children. Let me give you a policy. Your son lives on the east side of Pine Bluff. He's a straight A student, and the school's on the east side of Garbage. You want him to go to school on the west side of Pine Bluff. You went to the principal, he said, Miss Slurbinsky, can you please transfer Rashawn to that school? I'm sorry, but we have a policy that kids got to go to school in their neighborhood. Is that a state law? No. What is the difference between a law and a policy? Listen to me, y'all. Laws are made by the state legislature. Policies are made by the local school board. Policies are not law. They're just local operating procedure. And if we organize, we can change all of them. And then we're going to have a social support committee to work with all the struggling black parents in Little Rock and Pine Bluff. That's right, some mothers want to do better, but they can't. Do you realize that a lot of our single mothers are dealing with potentially fatal medical problems? It's not that she don't care about her kids. That woman got heart disease. It's not that she don't care about her kids. That woman can have a stroke any day with her cholesterol. That woman is a victim of domestic violence. This one got diabetes. This one got cervical cancer. That one got HIV. So we got to wrap our arms around these mothers and these single fathers and these grandparents and stop making them the scapegoat for everything that goes wrong in the school system. Do you remember when we were growing up, if a kid next door didn't have his mother, did grandma call the cops to come get the kid? Did grandma call Child Protective Service? You know what grandma did? Grandma would go next door and say, where's your mom? And they would say, I don't know, Miss Anna. And they would say, get your school clothes, get your homework, you're gonna come and stay with us. Guess what? Mom might not came back the next night. And guess what? Grandma said, so what? Go get all your clothes and bring them over, baby. You gonna live with us. You're a part of this family until your parents come back. And sometimes, grandma will raise them kids until they graduate from high school. And guess what? The school never knew that the parents left the kids. That's how black people used to do. Now we selfish as hell. And we don't give a damn about nobody unless it's our own children. We gotta get over that, y'all. And then we're gonna have a homeschool committee. For those of y'all who wanna homeschool your children, that's why I need you to sign up. Nothing wrong with homeschooling, but we got to do it right. Because some of y'all home fooling the hell around with those babies. Talk about you homeschooling, you only teaching 1 day a week. Listen, you are not a homeschooling parent if you are disorganized. You're not a homeschooling parent if you don't have the time. You're not a homeschooling parent if if you're exhausted. You're not a homeschooling parent if you don't have no support. You just don't wake up and homeschool. You gotta have a calendar. You gotta have a curriculum. Is your homeschool going to be 12 months? Is your homeschool going to be 9 months? Is it going to follow the district calendar? Or are you going to have your own calendar? And then you got to have a curriculum map. Because if you don't map the lessons, then you don't know what you're going to cover in a certain amount of time. What is he supposed to learn in August? What is he supposed to learn in September? What is he supposed to learn in October? If you ain't got no map, any destination will do. Yeah, you've been doing a lot of teaching, but you ain't been learning nothing. But here's what I want to do, Little Rock. We want a homeschool network. Why are you working by yourself when 10 other parents homeschool?
Right.
How about he be the math teacher on Monday? How about he be the science teacher on Tuesday? How about Dude do African history on Wednesday? Katrina do African physical fitness on Thursday. My brother right here, he gonna do agricultural science and maintenance Saturday. On Sunday, I'm gonna do intro to white supremacy studies. So you got a special ed committee, discipline committee, policy committee, homeschool committee, social support committee, and then we need a finance committee. We want to see how they been spending that money in Little Rock public schools, because guess what? That money not going to you or your children. By a show of hands, who in here ever had a contract to provide a service for Little Rock and Palm Bluff public schools? You actually had a contract with the school board. Not no hand went up, because they give them to white folks. Who got the contract to clean the bathrooms? You don't need no degree to clean the damn bathrooms. Do you realize if you had the contract to clean Little Rock bathrooms for 1 year, you could probably put 200 black people to work? Who got the contract to take out the used furniture? Who got the contract to wash the windows? Who got the contract to buff the floors? Who got the contract to bring in the lunches? Who got the textbook contract? Who got the summer camp contract? You mean to tell me your tax money is going to this district and you're not getting nothing back out of it? That's why we need the finance committee. And the last committee is going to be parent advocate. I need some of y'all to be advocates. That means I'm going to train you in the law and procedure of special ed and regular ed. And every time a parent got to go to a meeting, you go with them. It is my policy that no parent should ever go to a school meeting by themselves. Why not? Why not, black mother? Because when the black mother goes to the school meeting by herself, they put her in a room. And then they bring in 25 members of the school team. For one mother, you got the principal, the vice principal, principal intern, counselor, nurse, social worker, school psychologist, reading specialist, dean of students, behavior specialist, bus driver, basketball coach, window cleaner. Ain't that right, black mother? And why do they send 25 people in a room for one black mother? To intimidate you, bully you, and confuse you. They'll say something like, we heard Dr. Johnson was here Friday, and we agree with some things he said, but he's just a bit too radical. He don't live in Little Rock. I've been teaching your son. I taught you when you were a child. I would never discriminate against a black boy. That's racism. Half of my friends are black. And you went in there to tell them your son ain't taking no Ritalin, and that white lady told you it ain't always bad. My grandson Jonathan, he's on Ritalin, Adderall, and Prozac. That boy is okay. Yeah, he killed 25 dogs last summer, but not because of the pills. And do you remember my They caught her walking butt naked down Main Street, but not because of the pills. And then once they make you think that Dr. Johnson was wrong and they make you second guess your own mastery of your child, see, that's half the problem. You mothers let white folk tell you they know more about your kid than you do. That gotta stop. You are always the master of your child. Even when I do an evaluation, I might spend a day with your child. I might spend 2 days with your child, but I'll never know your child more than you know your child. Go with your gut, black mom. Go with your gut. And then when they think they got you all confused, guess who comes into the room? Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate from the Kwanzaa Collective. She come in here smelling like frankincense and strawberry shea butter, and she comes in here, and you say, oh my God, this Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate. And now you feel bad because she's an elder in the community. And Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate says, I love Dr. Johnson too, but trust me, drugs ain't that bad. These white people, these are good white people. I've been working with them half my life. They say, no, Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate. Dr. Johnson said, the rid of the Adderall. I even did my own research, Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate. Them drugs ain't no good. Listen, I raised you on Kwanzaa. Listen, put Raheem on the rhythm. If he starts talking to himself, gaining too much weight, losing too much weight, hearing voices, killing the cats in the house, come back and I'll help you get him off the medicine. Okay, Queen Mother. You listen to that woman who ain't got no credentials or no expertise just because she gave you black history. No kids. You come back to the school looking for Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate because now Raheem is running around butt naked with scissors in his hand. Talking about he new Tarzan movie. And you go looking for Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate. They say Queen Mother Coochie Chocolate packed up to Africa, opened up a shea butter factory. You on your own. Listen, stop going to the schools by yourself. Black fathers included. Because guess what they do to black fathers now? Restraining order. You go to the school, you told the white lady, my son ain't going to special ed. That's it. But sir, I said my son, I'm his father. He ain't going. But sir, I said, oh my God. The vein in his forehead protruded in his eye. And I didn't know what to do with my heart. And I tried to duck because I thought he would swing because his chest stuck out. And I bumped my head and fell unconscious on the floor. And now the next thing you know, black father being escorted out with handcuffs, talking about that ain't what happened, but you went by yourself. You ain't got no witness to the crime. I know you're not scared of white folks, black father, but you cannot go by yourself. Take your brother, take your homie, but if you go by yourself, you set yourself up for a restraining order. I know over 24 black fathers who can never walk into their child's school again. Can't go to graduation, can't pick up a report card. Listen, I'm a principal. I'm not going to my daughter's school by myself. Because I know how those white women will play you. Talk about you looked at her butt and she ain't even got one. So those are the 7 committees. If you've never been to Africa, think about going to Africa with us this summer. We're going to Senegal and Ghana. July 26th to August 11th, I go every year. Last year we took a group to Egypt and Ghana. 3 years ago we went to Morocco and Ghana. This year we went to Senegal and Ghana. We're going to take you to the Prempeh Museum, where Nana Prempeh, the king of Ghana, defied the British and they sent him into exile because he refused to give up the Ashanti stool. We're going to take you to the cell where Queen Mother Yaa Asante was once imprisoned, the black woman who fought against the British invasion, who stood up when the men did not. We're going to take you to Cape Coast Slave Dungeon where even Christopher Columbus spent a few nights. We're going to take you to the National Museum in Ghana, and then we're going to have a traditional naming ceremony. Nana Nketsia V, he's the paramount chief, king of the Ahanta people in Ghana. So you have to bring a white outfit for the naming ceremony. Not for white people, there are no white people, it's pink and orange, it's white for their ancestors. And he's going to give you a traditional African name. Not the kind you get at the Black History Club at the public library, but a real one, okay? And then if you want, you can get you some African clothes made. I'm wearing a dashiki I got made in Ghana this past summer. Custom made, that's how much it cost me. $20 US. So guess what I did? I came home with 50 of them. Because I know a deal when I see one! And then we want to have a cookout. There's some elders who moved from Washington, D.C. to Ghana. They live on a small little island in Ghana. they're going to do a cookout for us. And put some nice music on and eat some good shrimps and salads and stuff. And then you want to take a boat ride? Okay, not the slave boat, that's over. Okay? Sisters, you can get your African hair done without no extension or nothing. And then we want to take you to one of the priests of the village, traditional priests. Every year you can do this. If you want to get a spiritual reading, the priest will give you a spiritual reading. You can still be Christian, but you need to know what your ancestors think about you. You can still be Muslim, but you need to know what your ancestors think about you. In fact, the priest in Ghana last year, he is a Muslim. But he still do it traditional magic. See, in America, they make you think you got to be a Muslim or you do African spirituality. You got to be a Christian or you do... How about in Africa, they do both? You can still have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and know how to divine the will of the Creator. Okay? And then at nighttime, we're going to walk at midnight from the center of Kumasi to the El slave dungeon. On August the 1st, we observe Emancipation Day, the end of slavery in Africa. Slavery didn't end in Africa in 1865. It ended for you in 1865. They continued to trade slaves off the coast of Africa into the beginning of the 1900s. So we walked with candles, a white candle, and every candle was like every other candle. We was all light each other's candles to show one unity. And then we walk through the streets with all the African brothers and sisters watching us, and they walk with us, and we go up to the slave dungeon at night. And then the chiefs of the village go into the female slave chamber in the dungeon in the middle of darkness. And they turn the lights on and they do the libation to all the ancestors who passed through there. And then we go back up to the main courtyard and they're singing and dancing and poetry and music, and we invoke and honor the ancestors. We worship God. We honor the ancestors. And then we want to go and take you to synagogue, where you can get some of that good Senegalese fish and tilapia and couscous, my God. And then we want to take you to Pink Lake, where all the water is pink. And then we're going to take you to Goree Island Synagogue, where I had my spiritual epiphany in 2005. I'll never forget it. Last week in July, I went into the slave dungeon. My first visit to Africa. I was Minister of Education for the Garden Movement, 30 years old. I did a libation for the first time in my life. I was raised Orthodox Sunni Islam. I got back to my hotel room. It's still light outside. I sit down on my bed. I don't have a roommate, it's just me. Wide awake. The room got dark, started spinning. I started hearing screams and chains and almost peed on myself. I was so scared. So then I tried to go to bed. When I tried to go to bed, something would wake me up forcefully and shake me. I would roll to the other side and it would shake me. I would roll to the other side and kept tapping me on my third eye. When I got back to America, I said, I never read this in the Quran. I need some help on this shit. Somebody got to help me out. So I went down to the Oyotuji African village in South Carolina. And the Babalawo did a read. He said, your ancestors came to you that night. They never left me since. Had that never happened to me that night, I would have never got into African spirituality. I'm saying that to say, some of you, not all of you, but some of you are going to go to Africa and you're going to get the same type of awakening. Because your ancestors are so happy you came home. They've been waiting for you all these years and you finally made an initiative to save your money and bring your black behind home. And they're so happy that they might all rush you at once. Don't get scared. It's just their way of saying, we love you and we here. Remember, African culture, our angels are our ancestors. Not no naked white boy with wings on his back. But your great-grandmother, your niece who died young, your cousin who got shot, they are the guardian angels of the family. That's why you need an altar in your house. That's why you need to call their name. The cost for the Ghana Synagogue trip from July 26th to August 11th will be approximately $4,000. Everything is included except your meals and your spending money. I don't make any money off the trip. I don't do it for money. The travel agent does, that's her business. But I don't do it for money. You can ask if you want. I do this to take people back home. I don't need to make money for that. My gratification is in knowing you reconnected with your ancestors. We got to stop this fake Pan-Africanism where I go to Africa in my mind. I don't go to Africa with my body. I want you to mark your calendars because we're going to be organizing the first the first national conference for the National Independent Black Parent Association that we just talked about. I need some of y'all to come to Baltimore in April. It'll be the end of March, beginning of April. 2 days. I'm going to train you so you can come back to Pine Bluff, come back to Little Rock, come back to whatever city you live in, and be the organizer for that chapter. We got to get serious. Stokely Carmichael said if you organize a little, you get a little done. If you organize a lot, you get a lot done. But if you don't organize at all, you don't get nothing done. Organization. Marcus Garvey said the greatest weapon used against the Negro is this organization. Now, I'm really looking forward to the Africa trip. I'm really looking forward to the Black Parent Association Conference in Baltimore. But you know what I'm really looking forward to? The Dr. Umar Unapologetically African Black Boy College Tour this summer. If you have a son between the age of 11 and 17, if you have a young man in your life between the age of 11 and 17, send him to me this summer for 1 week. 8 nights, 9 days. There will be one tour from Harlem. There will be another tour from Atlanta. The Harlem tour, we will take him to the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. Arthur Schomburg was a Puerto Rican African, a good friend of Marcus Garvey's, who was the first to systematically study Black history. The Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture is the largest repository of Black history in the world. In New York. We're going to take them to the world famous Apollo Theater. We're going to take them to the Malcolm and Betty Shabazz Center, which is the Audubon where Brother Malcolm was murdered on February 21st, 1965. That's now a museum in Malcolm and Betty's honor. We're then going to take them to the gravesite of Paul Robeson, Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqin, Malcolm X, Malcolm Shabazz, Malcolm X, Paul Robeson, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqin, Malcolm Shabazz. They're all buried in the same cemetery. We want to go and pour libation and invert that masculine alpha male energy. And then we want to take them to Lincoln University, Cheney University, our first 2 HBCUs. Then we're going to go to Baltimore, Great Blacks in Wax Museum, the Frederick Douglass Museum, the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, and then I'm going to take them to a place called Rochester, New York, where my ancestor, the greatest Black leader who ever was born in this country, Frederick Douglass, is buried. And they're going to visit the Frederick Douglass Resource Center, and then we're going to take a 45-minute ride to Auburn, New York, with a little Black woman by the name of Harriet Tubman. Helped free over 300 slaves. Your son is going to walk in the house she lived in. He's going to go through the museum on the grounds where she lived, and then we're going to go to her gravesite and pour libation to the Queen Mother of Black Revolution. And then we're going to drive down to Coppin State, Bowie State, Morgan State University, and then we're going to end the tour at a place called Jerusalem, Virginia, where on August the 21st, 1831, a Black preacher by the name of Nathaniel Turner said God gave him a vision to free his people from bondage. And he got his friends together, Hart and Travis and some of the women on a plantation in Jerusalem, Virginia. And on my birthday, August the 21st, 1831, they went from house to house, killing everything white they saw. Cats, mice, roaches, birds, it didn't matter. It was white, it was alive. And that Black man, Nat Turner, in the city called Jerusalem, was finally captured. And your son will go to the courthouse where Nat Turner was captured and waited his execution. And a white man walked in there and he said, you claim that God sent you on this revolution. And Nat Turner said, yes. And the white man said, well, if God sent you on this revolution and you're now captured, soon to be hanged, doesn't that mean your Lord has failed you? And Nat Turner looked up at the white man and said, no, sir. Even Jesus Christ had to be crucified. And then they walked Nat Turner across the street. Your son will stand at the spot where Nat Turner breathed his last breath. And they put the noose on Nat Turner's neck. And they said when they lifted his body up, he didn't for want of oxygen. After they laid Nat Turner's body down, the white folks came with their knives and they cut off penises and ears and testicles and nostrils and toes, because you know that's what they did. And guess what they did to Nat Turner's head? They beheaded him and sent him to Harvard University. They wanted his head to be studied because white folks want to know what it was about this Black man that made him so fearless of white folk. Do you know a Black lawyer owns Nat Turner's head today? Do you know 175 years later, the father of Black Revolution has never had a burial? Right now, they're trying to get his head sent back to Jerusalem, Virginia, which is now known as Druryville, Virginia. They changed the name to hide the history. And they're trying to get his head back so Nat Turner can be buried for the first time in 175 years. You're going to take your son to an amusement park. He want to go to the beach. He want to go to the mall. He want to have fun, but he going to learn. And that night at the hotel, we're going to do seminars. Night number 1, why you need to respect black women, why you must honor black women, why you will marry a black woman. I don't play that colorblind shit. Night number 2, whatever you want to be, young man, you better make a business out of it. You want to be a doctor, open your own hospital. You want to be an architect, it better be your own firm. You want to be a nurse, it better be your own clinic. You want to fix cars, it better be your own shop. We don't work for nobody no more. Slavery over. And we want to walk to start his own business. Night number 3, understanding African history and culture. Night number 4, understanding white supremacy and racism. Night number 5, growing up without your father and how you work out problems with your mother. Number 6, how do you deal with depression and suicidal thinking as a black boy? How do you deal with the stress of being a black man in America? Every night is going to be a different seminar, a different discussion. This is going to be therapy and revolution all at once. If you got a son between the age of 11 and 17, you want to send him on our tour? Registration should be ready in about 3 weeks. It should be ready in about, give me till April 1st. The Africa trip, next week. The Black Boy College Tour, give me till April 1st. That's one of the reasons this is my last lecture for a couple months, because I got to get stuff done. If you want to send your son to the South Tour, Atlanta, Dr. King Grave, Dr. King Museum, Memphis, Tennessee, National Civil Rights Museum, which is where Dr. King was murdered. That hotel is the National Civil Rights Museum. Then we're going to take him to Tuskegee Institute, Lamone Owen College. Might even bring him here and visit this fine institution that has a history. Morehouse, Spelman, Clark. We know Spelman is for girls, and ain't the type of party when you want your sons to understand the history of black women. The Montgomery Civil Rights Institute, the Birmingham African Holocaust Museum, Charleston, South Carolina Civil War Boat Trail, Charleston, South Carolina Slave Tour. You do know that over 60% of the blacks who came in this country came through the port of Charleston. If there's any holy ground for us, it's Charleston. We're going to go to the water and pull a libation and do our own candle night vigil. And then we're going to take them to the Oyo Tunji African village so they can get a little juju, hoodoo, and voodoo power. So y'all scared of voodoo because you don't know that voodoo is nothing but the Ifa of the Yoruba, God's religion, taken to Haiti and hidden by the practitioners of Ifa in Haiti. They had to hide it under the Catholic saints because they wasn't allowed to practice African spirituality. Y'all done got spooked the hell out because you don't understand African spirituality. One God! But that one God manifests himself and herself into so many different manifestations that when the white man came to Africa, he thought every manifestation was a different deity. No, these are different faces of the same one God. So whether it's Offset or Heru or Asaru or Net or Geb, the same God, different faces. Just like you got Umar the psychologist, Umar the orator, Umar the author, Umar the father, Umar the therapist, but it's the same Umar. You let white folks confuse you about your birthright. You better get your African spirituality back, because without it, we never going to come up out of this. Close. With my Ice and Son story, take out your phone and take my number. This way you can text me directly. Dr. Umar, where can I register for the Africa trip? Dr. Umar, how can I get my son on your tour? Dr. Umar, how can I donate to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy? Yes, brothers and sisters, we still trying to get to St. Paul's College in Virginia. They still want $2 million. We raised $500,000, but if we don't get it, we're not going to stop. I'm just going to get another school and get started somewhere. We can't keep waiting. Our boys are in trouble now. Africa want me to put the school over there. Nana and Ketsia, the same one who gonna give you an African name or something, he texted me last week and said, Doc, the Minister of Education want to talk to you and Ghana. I'm scared to talk to the Minister of Education. You know why? Because I think the Minister of Education will give you an offer I can't refuse. I think the Minister of Education will say, we got a building for you, bring that $500,000 US, transfer that to Ghanaian currency, and you already got over $2 million. Do y'all realize that $500,000 is already over $2 million in African currency once you convert it over? So Dr. Johnson, if you're a Pan-Africanist, why not just go to Africa and build your school? The reason I'm scared or hesitant is I know most of you are not Pan-Africans. And you're not going to send your son to Ghana to learn. Even though he'll be more safer in Ghana than he'll ever be in Little Rock. You won't send him. Even though the tuition will only be a fraction of what it costs in America, you ain't going to send him. Because your slave master de-Africanized you. So I want to stay here and put the first school in America, but if I can't, if they give me an offer I can't refuse, I got to go. But I want y'all to know your son can still come. There's an African-owned airline. We're going to do a charter flight to take all the boys at one time to school, bring them home for Thanksgiving, bring them home for Christmas. We don't celebrate that, but I know they need their time with you because that's when you get off from work. You won't miss a beat if your son comes to learn in Africa. And guess what? I can do a better job teaching them here, there, than I ever could do here under the supervision of the white man. So we might be going to Africa, brothers and sisters. Oh yes. If you want to work at my school, send me your resume. fdmgresumes@gmail.com. I need math teachers, I need science teachers, I need history teachers. I need people who can speak African language, because every child will learn 3 African languages. I need women who know how to do natural hair, because all the girls will be natural. You will not allow the way of perm, weave, and extension at my school. It will be a nappy by nature institution. No process, no hair color, no Beyonce or Weavonce. Now some of the sisters are saying, what does my daughter's hair have to do with her education, Dr. Johnson? Everything. Before I can teach your daughter anything, I got to teach her to love herself as God made her, not the Korean hair store factory. I didn't say you got to change your hair, black mother. You grew up with me. You came from a generation where they valued the way white women look. But we don't want that for your daughter. Your daughter can come to my school with twisties. She can come with an afro. She can come with locks. She can come with a blowout. She can come with a Caesar like Dr. Johnson. But it got to be hers. And if you forget to cut that fake stuff off her head, I'm a barber. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to put a little rock in the back. Say a little rock. Yay! We'll make sure. But it's going to be that. I need people who know how to grow food. I need people who know how to do vegan food, because the diet of the school will be 80% raw and vegan. So I need some of y'all to know how to cook it so it tastes good so they won't eat it, because I don't want my kids starving because your food is nasty. You got to know how to make it taste like a real steak. I got a brother who want to teach our kids how to do seafood fishing. Brother in North Carolina, he want to teach them how to fish for shrimps and oysters and clams. We going to have a seafood buffet every Sunday. And I got over 7 pilots who are going to teach our kids how to fly airplanes. Your son will graduate from my school with his junior pilot license. What's going to make your school so different? Because my school is going to be based on Pan-Africanism and revolutionary entrepreneurship. Your child graduates from my school, they will be a master of real estate. They will be a master of business planning. They will be a master of Wall Street. Your son will know how to do his own taxes by the time he finishes the 9th grade. He will know the whole real estate market of Arkansas by the time he finishes the 10th. He will have mastered his own business structure by the time he's done the 11th. He will be multinational investing by the time he graduates. He ain't got to go to college if he don't want to. If he want to go to college, he'll be ready. But guess what? He can make his first million right after graduation. That's how we rap it. I'm telling y'all right now, all y'all got little babies coming in, little girls, little princesses. When it's time for her to grow up and get married, you bring her to FDG and get a real alpha man. That's what we pumping the hell out. Because we tired of the softness that's going on. And I think I speak for every black woman in here. You want a real man. You tired of this soft stuff. Backbone, alpha male. And I want all you black men to understand that you should never sacrifice your alpha maleism for nobody. Be a damn man under every circumstance. Never let nobody castrate you psychologically. We want to teach the kids dietary and nutritional science. Your son will know how to solve problems with the human body. Daddy get a flu, he don't got to go to the pharmacist. He gonna go out to his own roots in the back and make the potion to heal that flu. Mama got diabetes, she don't need no diabetes medicine. He gonna hook up some of that Dr. Sadie and knock mama condition right on out. That's what we talking about. Revolution! We're going to teach agricultural and agronomical science for every child know how to grow their own fruit, grow their own vegetable. Because there is no culture without agriculture. How can you talk about you being educated when you can't sustain life? 85% of black people are dying from diet-related preventable diseases. The food is killing us, so we're going to teach the kids how to eat to live. course we're going to teach them political and military science. Responsible weapons handling. Oh, hell yeah. He will learn how to shoot. He will learn how to stab. He will learn how to cut. He will learn how to live off the land. Not that I ever want him to use the skill, but we know the world we live in. And if your son is home one night with mom and his sister, daddy at work, and somebody climbing that back door, that boy might only be 6 years old. He know how to get daddy rifle. He know how to cock it back. He know how to load it up. He know how to execute God's will. That's what we're doing in that community. So brothers and sisters, as I close, my phone number is area code 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. One more time for my special ed parents. 215. I'm picking with you. 215-989-9858. If you're on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Dr. Umar Johnson. If you're on Facebook, you can follow me at Dr. Umar Ifatunde. I use my Yoruba last name. Ifatunde. Dr. Umar Ifatunde on Facebook. Everything else is Dr. Umar Johnson. Just like the email, Dr. Umar Johnson at Yahoo. Website, drumarjohnson.com. Remember, Africa trip next week, Black Boy College Tour, April 1st. Text me, and I'll let you know when it's ready. I'm going to give you my Ice People and Sun People story. When I'm done, we're going to do a line right down here. You get your book outside. Make sure you get my book, Psychoacademic Holocaust, if you don't have it. If you're a parent, you got to read it. It's the only book that teaches you how to protect your children, to advocate for them. It teaches you step by step what to do. Read that book if you care about your children, because it's the only one that's going to teach you how to protect them in school. I got some DVDs out there. I got some hoodies out there. Make sure you support. Buy something, because I don't take handouts from white folk. My Black Boy College Tour, I'm subsidizing a lot of that. Everything I do, I got to pay for. So when you come to my lecture, you ain't putting money in my pocket only. You're helping me finance the different projects that we're working on. If we end up taking a picture, have your phone ready. Your phone should already be ready when we do the pictures and sign the books. I can sign your hoodie too if that's what you want. And you can't use credit card if that's what you prefer. Once upon a time, God created the sun. And from that sun, he put people. These people were called the sun people. The sun people lived under the sun. So they lived under abundance. They never wanted for anything because the sun gave them everything. If they were hungry, the food grew. If they got thirsty, they could get clean, fresh drinking water. If they wanted fruit, it grew off the tree. Diamonds ran in the water, gold popped up through the land. Sun people were a peaceful people. They lived in harmony with nature. They never needed doors on their houses because nobody stole. No man had to worry about his wife because no man would go there. No woman had to worry about her husband because no other woman would go there. They were so peaceful because they wanted for everybody else what they wanted for themselves. The sun people lived in heaven by themselves in peace. But then there was the ice people. Ice people lived under the ice. They had no sun. So they never lived in harmony with nature because nature never provided for them. If they got thirsty, they had to try to melt some of that ice. If they couldn't melt it, they would kill each other and drink the blood out of the skull. They didn't have fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, so they had to eat the worms and the mice and whatever varmint that would run around on the ground. And when there was no food around, they would eat each other. Because there was never enough to go around in the land of the ice people learned to be conniving. They learned to be manipulative. They learned to be deceitful. They learned to be liars. They learned to be deceptive. Why? Because there was never enough for everybody. So in order to keep what you had to manipulate other people. One day the ice people came into the land of the sun. And they walked in there and they looked and they said, look at this shit. God blessed these people with everything and God gave us nothing. But when the sun people saw the ice people, the sun people didn't reject them. The sun people ran over to the ice people and said, hey, we don't know where y'all from, but y'all smell, so we're going to wash y'all up. And so they went and got some of that African black soap and they taught the ice people how to wash your butt that you wash up every day. And they had a hairy back, so they would teach them how to shave all that hair off their back. And the woman would have her menstrual cycle, she wouldn't do nothing about it. So the women would teach the ice women, you're supposed to wear something during your month. You don't just let it run like that. And then when the ice woman went to cook the food, the sun woman had to tell the ice woman that you can't eat the food raw. They would just kill the animal and eat it. And some people say, no, baby, you got to cook that. It got germs in it. Where the hell y'all come from? Put some jerk sauce and some paprika on the meat, damn it! Where the hell these ICE people come from? And guess what? The more you help them, the more they hate you. They grew contemptuous in you. They said, who the hell are these people to look down on us? But you didn't look down on them. You tried to show them. You accepted them as your own. But because they was from the ICE, they have been geo-psychologically altered to be out of accord with nature. So guess what? The ICE people got together one day and they said, we're going to take everything that some people got. And while you were steadily trying to include them into your family, they started manipulating. They started stealing. They started creating weapons. And they came up with something that is the exclusive prerogative of the white man. Genocide. The selective extermination of a whole group of people. You wasn't into that. Because you're not ICE. You're son. You are in harmony with nature. People say, how did white people take over Africa if you were so great? Because they benefited from an unfortunate circumstance in nature and history called the gun. We had gunpowder first, but we used it for spiritual ceremony. We wasn't interested in genocide. When the white man got it, he used it for genocide. So it's not that he was better than you. It's just that he's willing to do things that are not consistent with your nature. And the one thing some people need to understand about ICE people, you can't include them, you can't integrate them, you can't accommodate them. They are anti-nature. They hate God and they hate the universe because it didn't bless them the way it blessed you. They have no protection from the sun, but you do. They have no genetic dominance, but theirs is recessive. They hate you for it. Some people, we live in harmony with nature. If we see a snake crawling by, we don't bother the snake. We say that's the snake. Go ahead. ICE people can't do that. ICE people see a snake, they want to go inside of it. Let me see if I can get in. You see a tiger, you don't mess with the tiger. He got his purpose. ICE people, when they kill the tiger, cut him open, wear his clothes, sell his teeth. They see whales in the ocean, can't leave the well alone. We're going to get the whale oil. We're going to get the blood. Half the animals on the planet are extinct now because of ICE people. They do not live in harmony with nature. So if you are son, divine nature, ICE, anti-nature, what happens when a person of the sun lays down to have a baby with a person from the ICE? Our biracial brothers and sisters are still African. I don't see you no different if you got a white mother or white father because the genetic domination makes you an African whether you like it or not. You're not biracial or multiracial. You African, but I need you to accept it and own up to it. Too many biracials want to play black power at the Umar lecture, but when you catch your ass in the supermarket with your Jewish grandparents, everybody don't see us. But the ancestors sit here at night to tell you something, Arkansas. Understand the nature of the ICE people before it's too late. Because the ICE people have a plan to exterminate your entire species. And if they cannot do that, they want to switch places with you. They want the ICE people to come live in the land of the sun. And they want to send the sun people to the land of the ICE. And if you ain't careful, if you keep trying to change people who don't want to be changed, sooner or later you will not be here. Love yourself first and let God handle the rest. In conclusion, my ancestor Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want the rain but can't stand the thunder or the lightning. They want the ocean but they're scared of the awful roar of the waves. He said the struggle we have might be moral or it might be physical or it might be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. He said men may not get everything they pay for, but you must pay for everything that you get. If this must be paid for with blood or with blows or with both, what you must pay. Frederick said, for 20 years I prayed on my knees to God for freedom, but the good Lord gave me no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, if you want respect from white people, why do you look for pity? The man who pities you will never respect you, and the man who respects you has no need for pity. He said, but most of all, you remember something, Arkansas, that power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. The first of my ancestors who were brought to America from Africa was a black man named A.L.L in 1701. He was brought to Talbot County, Eastern Shore, Maryland. He married Grandma Selah, for whom my 4-year-old daughter is named. In 1745, they had Grandma Jenny. In 1774, 2 years before Thomas Jefferson's Declaration of Independence, Grandma Jenny gave birth to Grandma Betsy. Grandma Betsy was born into slavery, but she married Grandpa Isaac, who was free. They had 12 children, all of whom would be born as slaves, as was the custom in Maryland. One daughter was named Harriet. Another daughter was named Betsy, after her mother. These two sisters were raped by Aaron Anthony, the Irishman who owned our family. As a result of that rape, Aunt Harriet gave birth to the greatest black leader in American history, Frederick Bailey. At the age of 20, Uncle Fred ran away. He changed his name from Fred Bailey to Fred Douglass to hide his identity. The next year, her little sister, young Betsy, my 5 times great-grandmother, was raped by the same master, giving birth to Frederick's little brother and cousin, Stephen Bailey. Brothers, because the slave master was the daddy. Cousins, because the slave master raped 2 sisters. The Civil War starts. Uncle Fred sends 2 of his sons, Louis and Charles. They go north to Boston. They fight in the United States Colored Troops of Maryland, 54th Regiment. If you ever see the movie Glory, Glory is about the sons of Fred Douglass, Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington. But they didn't play him by name, but there was a lot of historical inaccuracies in Glory. For example, Glory would make you think that every black man in the 54th was an escaped slave. Totally opposite. Every black man in the 54th Regiment was a free black man who volunteered to fight in the war between the states. My grandfather, Stephen, he wasn't so lucky to run away. He married Grandma Caroline, a fellow slave on a Lloyd's plantation in Maryland. Plantation house still there, looks just like a look in slavery. Their firstborn son was George Washington Bell, my 3 times great-grandfather, first black public school teacher in Talbot County, Maryland. When the Civil War was over, because Grandpa Stephen and George were side by side, United States Colored Troops of Maryland, Grandpa Stephen, Grandpa George married Grandma Annie. Grandma Annie was the niece of Bishop Alexander Wayne, 7th successor to Richard Allen in African Methodist Episcopal Church. They had a daughter named Caroline. Caroline moved to Philadelphia. She had a daughter named Vivian. Vivian met and married a Spanish-speaking Cuban immigrant, my great-grandfather from Cuba, Cicero. They had a daughter named Ida, who met and married James Johnson. They had a son named Jamal, who met and married Barbara. And on August the 21st, 1974, the anniversary of the Nat Turner War, the Haitian Revolution, and the George Jackson Revolution, Umar Johnson was born in North Philadelphia. Marcus Garvey said, His Excellency Marcus Messiah Garvey, leader of the largest black organization in world history, said, without confidence in yourself, Arkansas, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. Marcus Garvey was once asked, are you an African or are you a Jamaican? Are you an African or are you a Jamaican? And in response to that, His Excellency Marcus Messiah Garvey, the man who gave us the red, black, and green flag, responded, you asked me, am I African or am I Jamaican? I would never, ever, ever give up a continent for an island. I am an African, yesterday, today, and for all times. I want to leave you real quick with a story about Dr. George Washington Carver. When Booker T started Tuskegee, he needed a science teacher. He heard of a black man named Dr. George Washington Carver at Iowa State, first black to get a doctorate in agricultural science. He went up there and asked Dr. Carver to come to Tuskegee. At the time, Dr. Carver was considered the top scientist in America. Not black, period. Corporations were begging him to come and work for them because he was a master. He turned it down to go work in Tuskegee. He gets to Tuskegee, Alabama. He asks Booker T. Washington, where's my science lab? Where's my apartment? Where's my lecture hall? Booker T said, I'm sorry, this is all we got. Without complaining, that black man, born to slave parents who was castrated as a child. Some of y'all don't know. Dr. Carver had his reproductive organ removed from his body because the white family who raised him thought he would want to molest their daughter, so they cut it off. That's why he never married. That's why he never had a wife or children. And that's why his voice was so high-pitched from the lack of testosterone. Students of Tuskegee, and from the garbage took iron, aluminum, plastic, wood, copper, tin. And from the garbage of the college students of Tuskegee, if you don't believe me, read the book Up From Slavery. From garbage, he gave us more than 300 products from the peanut. From garbage, more than 500 products from the sweet potato. From garbage, more than 200 products from the soybean. So Arkansas, I ask you, how do you come from ancestors who did so much, who had so little? You got so much, and you do so little. You can get rid of the white man outside of you all day long. But what about the one who's living inside of you? Little Rock, Arkansas, up you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. One love, black family. One love.